What we do here is go back. What we do here is go back.
Okay, and we're live. Hopefully we are anyway. Good evening, Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. Hopefully you can all hear and or see me. Please let me do in the chat if you could. That would be fantastic. Before we carry on whittering too much. Let's have a look. Rick H is good on my end. Excellent. Where's my seat adjuster? There it is. All good, says Viali. Excellent stuff. All good, all good. Fantastic. Let's check the overhead camera is working. Yep, that seems to be okay. And stream desktop probably is working as well. Yep, good stuff. And that is it. So, good evening. Welcome to tonight's stream. It is Saturday the 13th of March 2025. Hopefully we're having a fantastic weekend. I'm still buzzing from a stream which was a little bit earlier. So for those of you who don't know, today over on the Adamant IT2 tech channel or podcast stream, whatever you want to call it, I sent over a motherboard which we had here on the channel back in December of 2023, and basically it just sat over there at the side for a long time. So that was the X570 Tough Gaming, which ages ago Matthew Day saw and thought it looked interesting to see if we could maybe get it going. Unfortunately, it was way beyond the scope of my abilities. So finally managed to talk Graham round to taking a look at the board, and after, well, I'm not going to spoil it actually, but let's just say it was a heroic effort. I'll let you be the judge of it. So if you haven't already, or you're not already, if you're subscribed to Adamant IT, make sure that you're also subscribed to the podcast channel, which is Adamant IT2, and check out today's stream. Yeah, it was a fantastic effort. I learned a lot. Hopefully the viewers did as well. And it was a real community effort. There were people checking on schematics, people checking out wattages, voltages, capacitors, resistors, etc. Stuff which is way above my pay grade. But fortunately, yeah, Graham, being the general all-round good, decent bloke he is, offered to take a look. I did kind of trick him a little bit, because I do think I asked him about a year or so ago, after I initially looked at it, and said, would you have a look at it and explain the problems? And he's like, well, I don't really do board repairs. So okay, fair enough. So we kind of left it at that. But then he was doing some other board repairs on his channel recently. And I said, oh, I've still got that X570 board I've been meaning to send to you. And I think he forgot the previous conversation. And to be honest with you, I'd forgotten what state the board was in. So I just said, well, yeah, it works. It fires up. but I don't get any display, which is kind of accurate because the RGB come on. You put power to it and the RGB come on, but you couldn't get it to turn on. So I wasn't entirely misleading him, but I wasn't entirely untruthful either. I was true in what I was saying. But we all know, if you've ever been somewhat of a PC tech for any of your friends or family, generally you have to ask quite a few questions to actually get the real truth out. So yeah, it was, anyway, like I said, it was a fantastic effort. And I strongly suggest, after you've watched this stream, or maybe tomorrow, or depending where it is in the world you are, if you've got the time, I think it's about 3.5 hour stream, but if you like that sort of thing and you want to watch board repairs, then definitely check out Adamant IT 2. I'll try and put a link in the chat at some point if someone else can. But yeah, I think everyone will agree it was a fantastic stream. Very, I wouldn't say it was so much entertaining. It was kind of entertaining, but it was more like an like infotainment. So it was like informative, but it was like a learning process as well. Not only just for us, the viewers, but also for Graham as well, because it's one of those things that he doesn't do. He tries to avoid it if at all possible. So yeah, it worked out very good. And yeah, that was it. Yeah, like Rick says there, so worth watching Adamant IT2 video from early. 3 hours of hard work and greatness. Yes, it was genuinely a cracking stream. It's not often that you can watch a stream and come away from it feeling like really stoked and positive, but it was definitely one of those streams, and it's really difficult to kind of capture that sort of magical feeling, that whole process, and for it to work out so well into the kind of time frame, starting from an area of basically complete hopelessness, despair, and I honestly thought he was going to end the stream early and just say, no, this isn't my bag. This isn't what I do. But I think I know what it's like when you're doing a YouTube stream. You're under some sort of pressure because you're fully aware that there's people watching and that you've got to kind of keep entertained, and you can't just duck out. It's not like working in an office or something where you just pick up the phone and say, I don't feel well, I'm not coming in. When you're doing a live stream, you're there for the long haul, like it or lump it. It's unfortunate. It's like it is what it is. So yeah, he done a great job, and yeah, it was a very, very good, positive, feel good episode of the stream. It was a shame Caradog wasn't there. He's away at the moment watching the Formula One, I believe, possibly. He's away out of the country anyway, but he was in the chat as well. So if you missed Caradog, he was in the chat from time to time. So yeah, there we go. Lots of things to talk about tonight. As you can see, there's things on the desktop as well. And actually, before we get into it properly, it does say in the video description and also in the show notes about some really, really cracking bargains. Now, I've had some bargains myself personally this week, and hopefully some of you will do too if it's something you're interested in. Now, a long-time member of our community, Dave Aitken, who some of you may remember about a year ago, he was commissioned by his design company to basically create 10 or 11 very, very high-end PCs for creating this 3D kind of animation thing, which was absolutely mind-blowing. The PCs were all running RTX 4090s, and they're all basically like this kind of cluster farm trying to generate this massive, massive image onto a promotional display, which is fantastic. So he spent a lot of money, the company spent a lot of money building these PCs, and basically now they don't need them anymore. So the PCs are being split down and sold off for parts. So if you're after any bargains, mostly motherboards, cases, RAM especially, there's some really good deals on some RAM at the moment for 64 gig kits, which is a lot, and some CPUs, AM4 CPUs. So if you fancy maybe picking up some cheap stuff to do a couple of flip builds, then definitely worth checking out. I've left a link in the video. So for our Discord, and where Dave has listed all the items and whatever's left, it's been selling very quickly, so there's not a huge amount left. There was only about 10 or 11 of each item anyway. The RTX 4090s, I believe, are listed separately, so you might want to DM Dave privately to see what the deal is with those. The company wants to try and get back as much money as they can on those, understandably, because it's a high value item. But things like the cases, motherboards, power supplies, RAM, motherboards, cases, RAM, yeah, basically the stuff you need to build a PC, essentially, It's all being sold off very cheaply. One of the highlights for me personally were the cases. So the Montech 903 Air Max, those I think he was selling it something like 40 quid, which is like nuts. Like they're 60 quid plus postage to buy brand new, and they've been in essentially a data center where they've been extremely well ventilated, extremely well looked after. There is basically not a speck of dust on them. They're like brand spanking new. Also motherboards, there's some AMD motherboards on the AM4 platform, the ARGB B550 Pro 4s, which are great boards, really good, and I think those are up for under £70. So if you're looking for that sort of stuff and you're maybe interested, and Ryzen 7 5700s, some good deals to be had, so definitely check out the links in the show notes, or head over to our Discord, just look into the sales room, stuff for sale, and you'll find the information there. Matthew Day says, is there a 4090 in your future? I would love there to be, but unfortunately, no. The prices are still a little bit too much of a bitter pill to swallow for me, I think, at present. But you never know, one day. Caf's doing the super chats now, so let's get those discussed and talked about. Where is it? There was a super sticker from Craig Lilly at the beginning, but that seems to have disappeared off my screen for some reason. So Craig Lilly is a member, or has renewed his membership. He was one of the originals actually, so thank you very much for that, Craig. And the second one here is, where are we? Scroll down through. Blah, blah, blah. Lots of chat today. It's excellent to see. Stephen OBG has now been a member for 2 months and says, motherboard fixed. Let's have some cider. I'm not really a cider fan, to be honest with you, but for those of you that are, feel free, drink away. Enjoy yourselves. I've got some Baileys. I might knock some Baileys a little bit later on. See how things go. But yeah, great to see some of you in the chat here. Cool Cat says there, HAF Price. I see what you did there. Is that actually working? Oh yeah, it is working on there. Why isn't it working on there? Why is that not working? I can see it on there. Sorry, I'm off on my own little tangent there. Now that works. Yeah. Things are working. I was wondering if the pop-up chat was working. Anyway, so yeah, great stuff. Definitely some bargains to be had there if you're interested. I myself have spent a ridiculous sum of money buying up some bits and pieces. Now, unfortunately, if you're after NVMe drives, they appear to be all sold now. Now, there were 10 or 11 of these. The Western Digital Blacks. This is the SN850X. Cracking drive. Gets a little warm, but cracking drive.
Well, Bill said I did ask Dave about a WD drive, nothing yet. So
right.
They've all gone, I think.
I believe they've all gone. So yeah, these were a very good deal. I can't remember the exact price, but normally these brand new are somewhere in the region of about £80, £70, and they were like a lot less. I think they were like 50 quid or something. So definitely well worth being involved. If you're not on our Discord already and you want to see when these kind of deals come up, which they do every now and then, and we try and post deals basically every single day. There's been some outstanding contributions recently from some of you guys from the Discord, so massive shout out. One in particular would be Mortal. I'll put a link in the chat actually, there you go, for the Discord if you want to join. Mortal's been posting deals like crazy from eBay recently, which actually is why we've got this stack here. These are some of the deals which I picked up this week, which are, I feel, actually excellent. One of them not so excellent, but pretty decent anyway. But anyway, so yeah, NVMe drives. NVMe drives do seem to be decreasing slightly in price. Now actually, our good friends over at Oracle actually reached out to me on Friday. They're sending over another one of their drives, which is a new model apparently, which is being dropped. It was originally, I think it's £150, and it's being dropped down on a special offer for Arco Special for basically they're giving you £50 off. So there's going to be an absolutely huge discount on that one. Potentially there's going to be another one as well, which is going to be down from, I think, about 55 down to £40 for kind of like a relatively basic-ish 1 terabyte NVMe drive. So those will be coming up next week. So keep your eyes and ears peeled on the Discord and also in the community chat, and we'll let you know as soon as those deals go live. But yeah, it's looking like there's going to be some pretty good deals. I said this was going to happen. I knew it. I could feel it in my bones that after the kind of Christmas period and everyone was like, oh, it was just getting worse and worse. But I did say, as things get quieter, as we head into kind of March, April, May, June, July, those are the kind of traditional quiet periods in tech, and we should see some significant discounts. And because people are basically not buying stuff or can't buy stuff, other components are becoming cheaper. So obviously trying to get hold of a graphics card at the moment is really, really hard to do. So everyone else is like, well, we've got inventory, we need to sell it. Reduce the prices, quick. There's enough margin in these things so they can afford to do it. So it's actually a good time to be keeping an eye out for bargains. If you were one of those people over maybe the kind of winter period and starting into spring and you're a little bit hesitant and maybe you kind of didn't bother with the Black Friday deals, a lot of those kind of prices I think are going to be just around the corner. So definitely exciting times coming for those of you that are into your slightly more budget orientated builds. That is, as long as you don't want a brand new graphics card, because if you want one of those, you're basically screwed. We all know this.
Connor McLeod's first time in.
Connor McLeod, how you doing, Connor McLeod? Are you feeling quickened tonight? Is that actually your real name, Connor McLeod, or are you the Highlander? I want to know. Let me know. Says, hello, Mr. Mike. How are you? I'm reasonable. I'm actually
That's
no.
pretty good for Mike.
For me, that's pretty good. Yeah, to be fair, I am a little bit hyped today. I'm feeling good. Been a good day's work. Got some videos cranked out. Normally Saturday is my kind of crank those videos out. Normally Saturday is my sort of almost like my wind down day because I've had a hard week. Saturday is just like, right, just chill a little bit, take it a bit easier.
Because you got to work.
Because I got to work tomorrow. Got to get up early. Got to do the stream on a Saturday night. So it's all a little bit kind of like But this week's been great. Every single day, done a video. One of the days I actually did 2, so we're starting to build up the numbers of videos that are in the backlog again. So hopefully very shortly we'll be going back to releasing 1 video every single day, other than Saturdays, which will be the live stream day, and Sunday we don't do any because that's the kind of catch-up day. But yeah, hopefully we should be going back to 5 days a week for videos, catching up, lots of stuff in the pipeline. I have got, and I shouldn't say this because it's basically leading you on a little bit, being a little bit of a cock tease going here, but in the other room I've got a big box full of MSI peripherals. So MSI's new 2025 peripheral range, keyboards, mice, gamepads, headsets. I've got a big box full of them in the front room, but they've changed the NDAs. So the plan was I was going to do it on the day that they arrived. I was going to do a live stream straight away and just crack straight into that box and show you all these new lovely goodies which have come through. But they emailed me shortly before the box arrived saying, Mike, hang fire on the peripherals because there's some NDA stuff going on. So we're just going to have to wait a little bit. So I'm really gutted about that because I, for one, personally, would love to get a new MSI mouse. I've got my MSI mouse here, my MSI equipped system, and it just needs a new mouse and possibly maybe even a microphone just to kick things off. There's some fantastic new keyboards coming from MSI. They've really taken on all of the criticisms that we've had of the past. They got 3 new models which are absolutely amazing, and hopefully they're going to be really competitive prices as well, which will be really nice to see. There is a super chat from our good friend of the channel, Mark Gaines. How you doing, Mark? Thank you for that. Mark says there, got myself a Trix 360 LEO for my new build. Trying to get a new Trix SE LEO, but there's about a 4-week wait. Yeah, those look incredible, don't they? That design with the wraparound LED just looks mad. Possibly a little bit rich for my taste. I'm not too sure how much they even cost. I've seen a few snippets of videos, but I've never delved in deep enough to see how much it costs, because I don't want to watch the video and think to myself, I really want one of those, and then look at the price and go, I could possibly buy a used car for that. So yeah, hopefully, Mark, send some pictures of it when you get it set up onto our Discord. I want to see what it's like. It looks awesome. Letters in the chat says, hello everyone, big storms here in the US and my power keeps going on and off. Well, stay safe, Aletta. I don't know what to say. It's a terrible time. There seems to be a lot of storms brewing up around the which side was it?
Tennessee.
Texas, Tennessee, coming up from the, I always forget which ocean. Is it the Atlantic? Blowing in from the Atlantic towards that area around about from Texas inward inland. At least that's what it looked like on a map. I'm no geographist, if that is even a word. But hopefully it's all good. Viali says, Mike, Scan have an RX 9070 for under £600. Ugh. Si's in the chat. Hi Si, nice to see you over from Adamant IT. Says, got any deals on repaired motherboards? Well, I have a stack here which may interest you. Possibly. Yeah, there might be a... Arutu says, Texas is the Gulf of Mexico. Is the Gulf of America. Keep up. You got to catch up. Times are changing. It's not the Gulf of Mexico anymore. It's the Gulf of America. That's gonna trip a lot of people out there, isn't it? How many of you just got triggered by me saying that? I was just waiting for them to change the Bristol channel, because we live in Bristol and you've got the Bristol channel, which basically comes up through Wales and Devon and places like that. So why do you call it the Bristol channel? It ends up in Gloucester. Anyway, moving on. Andy Archer says, America is shrinking, Mike. It's probably all that... No, I'm not going to say it. I won't gonna...
Do you want anything from Tesco?
Do I want anything from Tesco? No, thank you.
Anything nicely gone off?
That's what I'm going to look for. Buy it all.
Alexa says, I just call it the Gulf. I used to like Trump, but now I think he's lost his mind. I don't think he ever had his mind. He's somewhat of a wild card. Sometimes it's entertaining, but sometimes it's just like nuts. But I think, political stuff aside, I think all politicians are basically told what to say anyway. They have a rough agenda.
It's just EastEnders, but on a bigger level.
Imagine EastEnders, but played out on a global thing. All across the flat earth. There we go. O'Reilly says the Bristol channel should be renamed to the Western EU channel, or the Irish channel. Yeah, call it the Irish Sea. It's basically connected to the Irish Sea, might as well be. Bye.
Bye.
Rashford says Trump just told our president during a pre-St. Patrick's Day meeting, we don't want to harm Ireland. Now I'm a bit worried. Yeah, I think I'd be worried. Firephone says, Mike, have you ever bought a PC from Aldi?
We do Aldi videos.
Don't think so.
And I don't think we've
there has been the temptation, yeah. We've never done it, but yeah, maybe.
When was the last time we went to Aldi?
Oh God, I can't. We haven't been to Aldi since pre-COVID.
Definitely pre-COVID.
Yeah,
even before then.
It's probably a good 6 or 7 years, if not more.
I would say it's about 10 years before COVID.
Joe Barnes says, hi Mike, Kath and Feline family, love to you all. Trump joke, mad as a hatter. They're all bloody mad, aren't they? Biden was mad, Trump's mad. Before them you had all of the Bushes, they were completely mad. Obama, like mad as a box of frogs. They're all insane. The people that go around religiously promoting these people or supporting these people, I think they're the ones who are a little bit mad. It all gets a little bit too kind of, not territorial, what's the word I'm looking for? No, it doesn't matter. It's just nuts. All the government, all the officials, all the politicians, they're assholes and they're trying to screw us all at every opportunity, so yeah, screw them all.
Stripper loves you.
Yeah, it is like Kath said exactly. It's like thinking that the stripper loves you. She don't love you, she just wants your money. Although she may have noticed you've got some Hubba Bubba in your pocket and she's quite into that.
Wants to give it a blow.
Yeah. Rick H says call it the Wales wash. Oh dear. Rutu says Ireland is too green, Trump wants it. I think Trump's got a load of stuff over in Ireland, so he wouldn't really want to do anything to Ireland anyway, because he's got loads of stuff there. I'm taking this thing off, it's a bit tight on my arm actually. Got a bit of a bad arm, bit of a bad shoulder, done something, don't care what it is, but yeah, it's driving me slightly insane.
But it's healing.
Anyway, Peter Stiff says, evening everyone, how you doing Peter? Good to see you. Nick Barnes just says, Mike, what happened to your elbow lifting heavy cases? No, it's been a weird thing. I'm not sure what I did actually do. I do remember I went to bed one night and I'm sure I had my arm like an awkward position, and I woke up in the night and I moved and I felt something really painful and it woke me up, and then kind of just, you know, you go back to sleep, and then I woke up in the morning, and the next morning it was like all my shoulder, down my back was all absolutely killing. On my arm was like, oh my god. And it,
You've had
yeah,
bad arm
it feels like I've got a,
anyway.
there's a muscle pulled, but like in there somewhere. It's hurting in my elbow and in there, and I've got pins and needles a little bit in 2 of my fingers. So I've definitely trapped a nerve or something. But anyway, whatever. Sice says, did it in bed, huh? It was actually in bed. Yeah, I think it is a trapped nerve. It feels like it. I just keep on waiting. This shoulder clicks quite often. This one never does. So I'm kind of waiting for it to, for something to kind of just, it feels like something's not quite in place, but I can't put my finger on it, literally. I would like to, but anyway. It's called old age, Mike, says Mike Whitehanger. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Sai says, I have a trapped nerve in my back. Bloody terrible. Yeah, this is annoying. I think it's because I'm just sat down.
Neck, not back.
Neck, back. It's all bad, isn't it? Yeah. The joys of getting older. I know. Shit happens. Anyway, enough about my problems. Let's talk about things which are very cool. We'll have a look at the case a little bit later. I'm still trying to wait for my shoulder to kind of settle down a bit so I can lift the case up and all that stuff. Otherwise, I'll have to get Kath to do it. Hands up in the chat who wants Kath to take over doing the unboxing.
I've got a bad stomach.
Oh,
I can't lift anything heavy.
She's got, yeah, she can't do it. She's got a hiatus hernia, so she's unable to do it either. We'll have to get the cats to do it.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah, they all want it. We want Dave, says Andy Archer. O'Reilly says, the joy of getting older. I just ignore it. If I don't start falling apart like a zombie, I'm good. Happy days. Right, let's take a look at some bargains which I've managed to get this week. Again, thanks to Mortal over on our Discord. Now, this particular one, I'm not too sure whether this is a bargain or not. It kind of seems like it might be, but it potentially isn't. So this is...
I've been on camera. Just look up the hula hoop video.
Look up on Mike's Unboxing, hula hoop. And Kath has been on camera. She actually was on camera.
And I didn't know I was going to be.
She. It's one of those times as well where it's absolutely freezing cold. You know what women are like? It's freezing cold, yet she's outside in the garden with like a skin-tight top on in the freezing cold. It's like, come on, really?
Short sleeve, you meant? Not...
Short sleeve, skin-tight top.
Tight, was
it was. It was, yeah. Anyway, moving on. This is a MSI not RTX, I wish it was, RX 6700 XT model. This is, I have to get this right actually, this is, I believe, the gaming, yeah, the 6700 XT Gaming X 12 gigabyte. Not the OC version, nothing else, this is the Gaming X version. Now the thing that the Gaming X has, which I kind of like, is it's got a little bit of RGB just between the fans there, and also it has an illuminated MSI logo on the side. You know me, like really, I'm a sucker for shiny lights, and it's got a ridiculously oversized cooler, which you think, well, it's only a twin fan, but they're massive fans. The cooler itself is huge. This is quite a bad boy. Now I actually managed to pick this up for £222, which I feel, for a RX 6700 XT 12 gig, especially a relatively premium model like the Gaming X, I don't think that's too bad a price at all. Although, having said that, there is a slight issue with it. Now this is down to MSI, and actually for those of you that have got MSI graphics cards, especially ones with RGB on them, this is something which I'm specifically putting out to you guys right now. Are you finding that Radeon cards in particular, they're all watching the hula hoop. Are you finding that MSI's RGB support for Radeon cards seems to be a little bit hit and miss? Whereas it'll pick up the card, it'll see it in MSI center, but if you try and change the RGB, it basically goes la la la, can't see you at all. The weird thing is, if I open up something like OpenRGB or Signal RGB, I can do whatever I like with the RGB. So I know it's not a problem with the card, it's not a communications issue, it's purely a software issue. And I've had this before with an MSI headset, which was the GH50 I believe it was, where for probably about a month or two, the headset would only work in red, which is its default color. Plug it in, It wouldn't appear in MSI Center, or it would appear, but I couldn't change it. All of a sudden, there's a weird update that happens to MSI Center, and it starts working again. So I'm not too sure, but let me know if you're an MSI graphics card owner and you use MSI Center for your RGB, and your MSI GPU has RGB on it. Let me know. Try and change the colors. Does yours work? Are you using a modern version of MSI Center? Etc, etc. Anyway, so that is the MSI RX 6700 XT. This, I actually quite like the look of this card, and I've done some benchmarks on it already, and it seems to perform pretty well. And actually, on my particular setup, I was only a couple of 100 points away from being like the #1. So with a little bit of tweaking, I feel I might be able to get some decent numbers on 3D Mark, which would be awesome, because it's very rare that I actually get a GPU which even comes close to being towards the top. So yeah, I was quite pleased with this. So yeah, it runs very well. It's a beefy card, and I will be having to do a repaste on that. So I might do that a little bit later on, just to see if it needs it, just to take it apart, see what it's like inside under the hood. But overall, yeah, pretty pleased. Do you think £222 is a fair price for this card? I'm still kind of in two minds, because obviously you could spend another £70 and get something like the B580 from Intel, or maybe a cheap kind of 4060 at the very, very low end. If you're spending about £300, maybe something around there, if you're lucky. Although between this and a 4060, I'd imagine this is probably going to be quicker. This is roughly about the same as a 4060 Ti 8GB. Between that and a 3060 Ti, which is essentially the same card anyway. So this is about a 3060 Ti kind of level of performance, and those go for around about the same price, around about £200, £250. They seem to have shot back up again. They were heading down towards the kind of 180s, 175s, 170s, but they're getting dearer, as are all cards these days. So yeah, what do you think? Good deal or not? Let's have a look, see what you say. Just reading through.
Wants you to do a video on repasting.
Okay. I'll do that. What was that? Good price what?
That you do a video on repasting this GPU. Good price, but very chunky compared to my Montech version.
It is a chunky card. The heatsink on here is massive. The temperatures are excellent as well. Like even under full load, it was hitting like 60 degrees if I was lucky. So yeah, cooling wise, I think it's working very well as it is. But you know what it's like with cars. If you've not been the original owner, you don't really know the history, how well it's been looked after. It does appear to be quite clean. There's a bit of dust on some of the fan blades, but nothing too outrageous. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty pleased with this. And I might even get a vertical mount in one of those cheap cases I picked up off of Dave Aiken recently. Put together a nice little system with a Ryzen 7 5700. That'd be a nice little pairing on that. And yeah, someone will have a nice system. Although, really, it needs to go with the MSI motherboard to get the RGB and all that working nicely together. But anyway, that's just me. Let me know in the comments, are you like me, where if you buy a motherboard, this like maybe an MSI stuff, do you try and keep all the stuff, or as much as possible, all in the same kind of brand? So if you buy a gigabyte motherboard, do you try and get a gigabyte graphics card? I know it's probably more of a thing for me because of RGB and making things look nice together, etc, etc. But is that a thing? Do other people do that as well, or am I just being nuts? It makes me miss EVGA, because at least with EVGA, it's kind of like, well, it doesn't matter. You're never going to buy one of their boards because they're way too expensive. So you just go with whatever is available. Anyway, I don't know. Wayne Taylor says, nerve in shoulder arm is caused by pinched nerve in your neck. Just need nice hard massage on the neck by HAF to free up nerve. Old man's chiropractor. Fair enough. I was getting problems actually with my neck, stiff neck as well, so maybe it is. Needs to do a bit of the old stretching and stuff to fix it all up. Anyway. Dutch Jan says, nope, MSI motherboard, power color GPU. And Aletta says, I buy the best bang for the buck. I do quite like to do that as well. If there is a overwhelming difference between the prices, I will tend to go with what is the better value for money. Rasher says, yes, I'm doing an AM5 build and trying all of them Lian Li, but can't get 240mm AIO from Lian Li. Yeah, that's a shame. Actually, there's a deal on at the moment from Thermaltake at the moment from Scan, so I don't like to promote, but whatever. They're selling at the moment their TH420 V2, the one that comes with the new style pump, and that one's, I think it's £80 for the black or the white version for a 420mm AIO. That's crazy money. If I had a case which would fit it nicely, I would go for it. It will fit in there, but at the front. Oh, I looked around, that went off at the same time. Anyway, the THC420, that's the one. Greg says, I don't bother with RGB, so brands are mixed. Okay. Michael Ellingham, he's gone in there with a ROG motherboard, ROG graphics. Yeah, I've been a sucker for that recently. I think it started off when I got the my ASUS system, which is up there, because I've got the BTF. So I kind of like didn't have a lot of choice with that. So I've got an ASUS Tough Gaming motherboard and also got an ASUS Tough Gaming graphics card. It does kind of go nice together. But yeah, I'm an RGB snob, I think, to some extent.
Oh.
Well, RGB dick. Tramp. Thanks, Kath.
Sorry.
Thanks for that. Anyway, let's take a look at some other bargains. I'll talk about this one in a minute because there's a special reason why I got this board. Well, it's not that special, but I find it special. So this one is the B650-A Wi-Fi from MSI. This is part of their Pro range of boards. So the Pro range of boards are a little bit weird because they give you some really nice features, but they very rarely give you decent bandwidth. So you don't get a PCI Express Gen 5, which potentially you could from a B650. It's better if I just take the board out and we take a look at it. I'll put it on the overhead camera so you can see what's going on. So Pro B650-A Wi-Fi, something which I actually, even though this is a second-hand board bought on eBay, I paid I think £105 or £106 for this, which for just over 100 quid, I think this is cracking value for money. It has 9000 series support straight out of the box. So that is unusual, and that's not a sticker, that is printed on the box. So this isn't like it's been updated at the factory, it's been done from day one. So Ryzen 9000 desktop ready. So that's pretty nice. We'll take a look on the back. So yeah, a little bit scruffy box, but that's not the end of the world. DDR5 support, as you expect. Front USB Type-C, Lightning USB 20 gig. Extended heatsinks, 2.5 gig LAN, which is nice. Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3, and you got the M.2 Shield Frozzers. I love that, Frozzers. But it's quite a nice looking board. Gently put that down. Aletta says, mainly I like MSI motherboards, XFX GPUs and Thermaltake cases. Yeah, I'm quite partial to Thermaltake cases these days. So there is the motherboard. It's a nice beefy heatsink on the primary side of the VRM. Got another smaller heatsink there on the secondary side for the kind of SoC and auxiliaries. Got all the usual stuff there, RGB support, diagnostic DLEDs, 4 RAM slots, front type USB, SATA. You've got actually 6 SATA ports on here, which is a little bit unusual. Again, down to the Pro range because more likely you're going to have loads of drives. Front panel USB type A's. Yes, Kath?
Is Wi-Fi a must for you on a PC Mobo?
No. In the UK, Wi-Fi sucks and is awful, and I would much rather have, if I had a choice between a motherboard with Wi-Fi and 1 gig Ethernet or no Wi-Fi and 2.5 gig, I would go with a 2.5 gig Ethernet. I think it just makes sense. Underneath these, unfortunately, because it's the Pro range as well, you don't get the nice features such as the quick release M.2 shields. But again, for the sort of money we're looking at here, it's not crazy money at all. And you've got the MSI Easy Latch. Let's grab a drive here a minute.
Pretty sure Wi-Fi is isn't geographical.
It is in the UK for bricks. In America, it works very well because they have wooden construction. Whereas in the UK, because we're bricks and mortar and plasterboard, that really does kill. Like, a brick wall is literally a brick wall to most Wi-Fi. Whereas in America, where they've got the wooden construction or timber constructions, it goes through and passes through much, much easier. So Wi-Fi in the UK is rubbish because of the way that we build our homes. So with the easy latch, that's pretty nice. So that just fits in quite nicely. Put your cover back on the top, you're good to go. Or at least put it that way around, that's pretty nice. Those are nicer than having, like, you've got to screw the tops in anyway, so it's not the end of the world to have screws there, but anyway, you get the general idea. And something else with this as well, which is a little bit on the odd side, is you've only got 3 M.2s, which for most people is probably going to be fine. Would have liked to have seen an additional one somewhere, maybe losing this last slot here. But you've got PCI Express Gen 3x4 slot there, I think that one is. Yeah, Gen 3x4, Gen 3x1, and all the M.2s are PCI Express Gen 4x4s. Yeah, they're all Lightning Gen 4. So that one and that one are from the chipset. Top one and the GPU are from the CPU. So yeah, not too bad a board really, considering. And again, you've got to think about what the price of this is. For around about £100-ish, you can pick up some decent deals. Now this is from like one of those eBay sellers where they seem to get like a pallet of returns or something. And some of them are good, some of them are not so good, some of them have got bent pins, others are just where they've been returned and they have no idea what the contents is like. They just put it on eBay and it's like sold as seen, untested type thing. But this one was sold as working, so I thought we'll take a bit of a punt on it, see what it's like. And it seems to have turned out a-okay.
Yeah, built-in IO shield, I sold
Yeah, built-in IO shield. Talking of the IO, actually the board does look a bit warped, a bit bent, but that isn't a problem. So HDMI and DisplayPort, USB flashback button, 2.5 gig LAN. You've got 3 10 gig ports there, plus the additional USB type 3.2 by 2, so that's 20 gigabit per second. And then you've got 2 Type A, 2 Type A normal, what's that, 480 megabytes per second. And then you've got the blue color coded ones, which are 5 gigabit per second. So you've got a load of USBs here, really. So you've got 10 USB ports, which for most people is going to be absolutely fine. Then you've got your Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth on SMA connectors. And you've actually got a pretty decent you've got a pretty decent audio setup on here. So this is using, I think it's the 4080 DAC. So you get all the 7.1 and also you get the optical speed if out. So again, for the pro people that are maybe sat at their desk doing, I don't know, a bit of video editing or whatever, this is actually a pretty decent board.
€180 new for that motherboard. I think it is a lot.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yes, the antennas are massive. I don't think these are the actual ones that it's meant to come with. I think someone's put these in the box, which you'll see shortly when the lights come back on. Because we've got a super chat from our good friend, where's my mouse? There we go. Mick Woods. There we go. Stick a heart on there. Thank you very much, Mick. Because now it's time for a couple of beers. Go on, Mick. Get in there. Thank you very much for your contribution. Much appreciated as always. You're a lovely, lovely man. Only a couple. Aletta says, I wish I had a beer. Get one out of the fridge. Right, here is the antenna. Now these don't say MSI on them at all. And these, I would suggest, are the high gain antenna. They don't look like the stock ones at all. Because normally I think, possibly on this board, you get the small little shark fin one. But these, I would say, are kind of the add-on ones that you buy from kind of like Amazon or third-party sellers, eBay, that type of stuff. If you look at them on the back, they are chunky sons of bitches. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure these are uprated ones. But if that's what it comes with, then, yeah, happy to. Sai says most have flat boys now. Yeah, it's those do look like high gain antenna. So I might swap those out and keep them. I've got some standard MSI ones here knocking around somewhere, I'm sure of it. So yeah, that was, I don't know, I think that was a cracking bargain. I'm pretty sure it's like either 105 or maybe even 110 I paid. But again, £110 these days, you'll be paying that for an old B550 Tomahawk, if you're lucky. I think even the B550 Gaming Plus, which is one that I quite often go to as the kind of £100 special, that at the moment is about 110, 120 in most places. So you're taking a bit of a risk, and guarantee wise, obviously you're kind of on your own. But eBay at the moment seems to be having some pretty good deals. And being that the 800 series is out now, obviously it makes a lot of sense because people are going to be clearing out their older 600 series boards, and you can potentially get a really good bargain. Kath's shaking her finger at me for some reason.
I can't bother to turn around.
Oh.
Nick Barnes.
She can't bother to turn round. Thanks.
It's okay.
Do I offend you that much?
No, I can see you in front of me.
Nick Barnes, question, is high gain an advantage? Yes, because you get like a better, well, it's a decibel rating they use, but it's basically you can pick up the signal from further away. Or if you're in the UK, you got brick walls, that sort of stuff. So having a higher gain antenna means that you're more likely to pick up a decent, stronger signal and it be more reliable. So if you are, for anyone, if you're using Wi-Fi on your computer and you find that the signal isn't great at the best of times, you can do a lot worse than buy yourself some high gain SMA antennas. You can just unscrew the old ones from your system, screw in the new ones, and if they're maybe a 5 dB, 7 dB gain, you should find your internet connection being just ever so slightly better. It's going to be ultimately down to the individual house, the individual location, where the PC's placed, where the router's placed, extra Wi-Fi around you, which is interfering. So it's not always guaranteed that it's going to make it better, but it shouldn't make it worse, let's say. Arnold G says, after my wife had kids, she became very high gain. Actually, I added in very. You didn't say very, you said high gain. I added that bit in. That was that was political. No, not political. That was artistic license I used on that. I think that's the way it's called. Cass put my cup of tea all the way over there just to break my thing.
That's okay for making it.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Never had problems with Wi-Fi in Australia.
Oh no, and your house is double brick. That's impressive. I'm not sure whether it's so much of a problem in slightly more modern houses, but this house was built in the 1930s here in the UK, and it's proper like old-fashioned bricks, proper old-fashioned mortar.
A pain in the ass when you need to do anything.
Yeah, there's no kind of insulation, so it's all like stacked bricks all the way through. It's yeah, it's horrendous. It's actually really hard to drill. So yeah, it's a problem. If you've got double brick, is there insulation in between it? That might help partially, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, if you've not had problems, hopefully it stays that way. I don't know whether in the UK we get more problems because of outside interference as well, because where we live here, we're in a rank of houses. So a terrace, sorry, yeah. And the houses are right next to each other and they're quite narrow. So you get a lot of interference from other people's Wi-Fi signals. So I think that is a large part of our problem. Maybe if we had a either a larger or a detached house, it would be less of a problem, but it kind of is what it is.
If in old bricks, you've got more iron content.
Oh, right, okay. Excellent stuff. Right, next motherboard. Now this one, there is actually a reason why I bought this. There is a specific reason why I bought this board. So this is the X670E Gaming Plus Wi-Fi from MSI again, and it's one of those motherboards which is a bit of a weird one. It's got some really nice specs to it, but it's also got some bizarre features like The onboard audio is absolutely horrendous, but if you don't really use onboard audio, then it's not really too big of a deal. Now I picked this up for 100 and, I think it's 120. So 120 UK pounds, again from eBay. And the reason why I've got this is because this motherboard is going to end up going in the streaming PC behind me. So the streaming PC behind me at the moment has an MSI B650 Edge Wi-Fi, which is a fantastic motherboard. I love it a lot. It's been very good. The early days were a little bit traumatic, trying to get RAM working and all those usual early adopter bugs, but I feel that the AM5 platform now has become a very, very stable platform indeed, and something which I want to kind of invest into more so. But the reason why I've gone with this is because this has got the X670E chipset. So this is the extreme version or enhanced version of the chipset. So you've got an absolute ton of bandwidth on here, which means generally motherboard manufacturers can either add a load more USB ports, or they can add in more M.2 drives, or they can add in PCI Express slots. Which for me personally, now if you look at the case behind me, if I remove the glass a little bit so you can possibly see inside, you'll see I've got my graphics card there. I had to specifically get a slimline graphics card because underneath it there is our capture card. Now that is what is capturing the stream right now from our camera over there. And that is an Elgato an Elgato 4K Pro. So that has got 4 inputs on it on the back. But it only works in a PCI Express PCI Express Gen 3 times 4 slot or higher. So it needs a by 4 slot. Now the only slot on this board which is by 4 is the one which is almost in the middle. So really that card needs to be in the bottom slot, because it does impede the graphics card a little bit. Luckily this isn't my primary gaming rig, otherwise I would be very concerned. But yeah, it is what it is. Also, with that card in there, I can't get access to any of the drives because it covers over the M.2 covers at the bottom. So yeah, it's just a bit of a noise. Whenever I want to do some quick tweaks to the system or benchmark a drive or anything like that, I've just got to basically strip down the whole thing, and it's a pain in the ass. So that is why I've gone with this board. So let's take a closer look at this board. You can see what it's all about there. Some of the key features on the back as before. Robust power design, so it's got a 14 plus 2 plus 1 VRM using 80 amp chokes. 2.5 gig LAN, very important for us because we do connect to the NAS for video streaming data, etc., and for video editing purposes. Lightning Gen 5 support on the M.2 drive at the top, and also the PCI Express slot, M.2 Frizzlers, all the usual stuff there. Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth, again, not that important for me personally, but handy nonetheless for doing testing. This one comes with the shark fin antenna, which is what you kind of expect to see more so these days. I'm not sure if that comes apart. No. I thought there was another bit that went into there to kind of keep it upright, but I think they just added a magnet in the bottom. It didn't come with many options, so it comes with basically your MSI stickers, sheet, and that is kind of it. Let's have a look at the board. Now the board is going to be something which a lot of people are probably going to dislike immediately because of the colouring of it. Because it's got a little bit of turquoise going on. Not everybody likes turquoise, which I completely understand. Sai says MSI fanboy. I am slightly, I got to be honest with you. I do like MSI stuff. Generally for the point of they make pretty good boards. They're generally reasonably well priced. They generally have quite a good spec. And they're reasonably easily available. So they normally cover all the bases. So nice setup, USB BIOS flashback, decent RGB implementation, diagnostic DLEDs, which isn't always a given. So it's actually nice to see it. Anyway, on this board, so in terms of I/O, there's a ton of I/O going on here, which is going to be really good. So at the bottom here, we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. So you've got PCI Express Gen 4x4 slot on the... What's the matter?
Stephen OBG, how do I get permission to send a message to Diakin in the Mega Parts sale section?
You'd have to send him a friend request, I think, or just leave a note there. If someone's in the Discord, if they can create or make you a member if you're not already. That should help. I'm not too sure what Dave's doing tonight, but hopefully he's going to listen to the stream if he's not already. Dave, open your DMs. There. Hopefully that helped. We'll sort it out for you, don't worry. So, yeah, PCI Express Gen 4x4 slot on the bottom. Then you've got PCI Express Gen 4x4 M.2. Then you've got PCI Express Gen 3 times 4. Then you've got PCI Express Gen 3x1. These two slots here underneath there, they're both PCI Express Gen 4x4. The top slot for the graphics card, PCI Express Gen 5 times 16. And the top slot is a PCI Express Gen 5 times 4. So pretty much the best solution that you can get on a motherboard without spending an absolute ridiculous amount of money. Obviously 4 RAM slots, all the usual stuff there. Absolutely tons and tons of fan headers. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fan headers at least, maybe more. I think 7's probably enough for most people. You also got front-mounted USB 3.0 ports in both directions. So one going out on the side and one going out at the bottom. So you can have up to 4 front panel USB type A connectors. USB 3.0 type A connectors, 4 of them. That's reasonably rare, but because we've got the extra bandwidth on the chipset, we can do that. You've also got your USB front panel connections. That's going to be USB 3.2 times 2, 20 gigabit per second. And also on the back, you've got an absolute ton of connections again. Usual stuff, BOS flashback, HDMI port, display port, 2 10 gigabit ports. Then you've got 5 gigabit ports, you've got 4 of those. Then you've got 4 USB 2.0 ports. And then you've got another 10 gigabit port and a 20 gigabit port. Loads of ports. The audio solution is rubbish. It's the Realtek ALC 897. But for me here, all I ever use is the mic jack anyway. So yeah, it's absolutely fine. I never use the audio out because I always use the HDMI audio output. But input, just a standard mic input, is going to be absolutely fine for what I need in terms of streaming. So yeah, I was very pleased with this. Around about 120 quid I paid for this. Arguably, it was probably the board I should have got originally, but this didn't come out until a little bit later as more of a slightly more cost-effective one. So yeah. Firephone says turquoise is a bit tacky, Mike. It is a little bit tacky, I've got to be honest with you. Potentially, because of my system, if I go back to the main camera, if you look at the way my system's set up at the moment, most of the stuff on there you can't really see anyway, or at least it's not particularly striking. And because I have RGB on all the time in unicorn puke mode, it's probably never going to see any, you're never going to notice it. So I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to work out okay. It's not that much different from that. That board is actually white and silver, but it looks white because it's reflecting the white of the case. But like these bits on the heat sinks, they're all silver, but because they're reflecting whatever is around it, it looks white. So yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Dutch Jan.
Dutch Jan, where's Dutch Jan? I can't see Dutch Jan. Oh, Dutch Jan. Only USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 gigabits on board. On where? On the back, or oh, well, on there? The front panel Type C. You might be right there, actually. Where are we? USB ports. Eight times. Where is it? Didn't even say on there actually. No, it says there's only one Type C on there, but there's not, because obviously you've got the front panel connection as well. Oh yeah, there we are. 4 times USB. yeah, 4 times USB 3.2 Gen 2 10 gigabit per second, 1 Type C, 3 Type A. So that's the red color coded ones on the back.
Yes, front IO.
Yeah, so the ones on the back. So yeah, that's a 20 gigabit on the back for the Type C, but the one for the front panel connector is a 10 gigabit. So yeah, my mistake. Well spotted.
Lucky you haven't done a review yet.
Lucky I haven't done a review video already. I think I did say that actually in the review, that it was a 10 gigabit on the front. You'll have to watch the video when it comes out and see if I actually said it wrong. I'm pretty sure I said it right. I might have to re-watch the video before it goes out. Although Kaf's probably put it out already. If I make a mistake in the video, it won't be the first. And it won't be the last. Anyway, so this motherboard should have been in that PC today. But due to the fact that the Adamant IT stream was on today and I was kind of a little bit transfixed by that, unfortunately this build didn't get done. So yeah, I'll try and get that done in the week. That'll be great because I've got 2 other capture cards. So I might take the Elgato out altogether, and I've actually got some, oh god, what's the brand? AverMedia. I've got some AverMedia Ultra HD capture cards, one of which works with MSI's RGB as well. So it's kind of like,
Do it now.
more RGB. Do it now. I wish I could do it now, but I'd have to turn the stream PC off. So if I turn the PC off, you won't be able to see it. So unfortunately, yeah.
Can't you?
I could stream from that PC, but I haven't set it all up to do it. So I was considering doing that.
Could you do it in a week like that?
If I do it in the week, I probably could do it that way. So it might be a thing.
We were meant
We'll
to
see.
do one last week, but
Yeah.
time and all that.
Well, we were supposed to do the MSI one last week, but because MSI changed the deal, we couldn't do it. I'm trying to what? Oh god! Sorry. Back in a second. I forgot to plug in the remote control for the overhead camera. Nick Byron says, even more video content, I hope. Yes. Hot swap the capture card. That would be fun. I would like to see little sparks come flying out of everywhere. Right, let's put that up. So, I'm trying to think, that is kind of it. So says, I mean, it was worth it. Graham did fix your board. He certainly did. Fireflame says, you were all over the place, Mike. Really hyped. I do get it. I think it's part of like I get mania every now and then. I go a little bit mad. It's good though. Sometimes.
So when you step on a track, you're either depressed or manic.
Yeah. Arnold G says, build it. Then when it's time to switch SSD back in 5 minutes. If only. I think it would take me, if I do the motherboard swap in there, including taking out the AIO, doing all the rewiring, then doing all the chipset drivers, make sure that's all okay. It's probably a good hour's work, I reckon. Probably half an hour if I wasn't filming it.
Ratto's just had his first old snap of the night. Anyone else?
Oh dear.
I rarely get it on this one with all these tabs open. Maybe you need to open them.
I've only got
50
one.
or 60 tabs.
Yeah, Kath's got about 100 tabs open in total, and she's running okay.
I think it's only happened to me 3 times ever.
Phil Stodd says, I like RGB in other people's PCs. Wayne Taylor says, did have a brand new GPU type in for repair this week. What was that, the 9000 series? Letter says, if I buy something with RGB, I only buy the old RGB so I can choose the colour via the wiring. Fair enough. Sai says, I guess I best join your Discord. You can do. The link is there in the chat. I'll put it up for you. Firephone says, I think Graham didn't think it would work. Yeah, honestly, with the stream, I'm not going to give away too much, but I think most people will probably get the general gist, and a lot of you probably watched it already anyway. But yeah, within the first half an hour, I genuinely thought that he was going to basically cancel the stream, because I think he's in a lot of pain with his sciatica. He said he was feeling a bit tired anyway, and he's got a bit of a cough. And yeah, and he's doing it as a one-man band because Caradog wasn't there as well. So I think everything was pointing, like he was feeling like it was going to be, oh God, I got to do this stream. And we get like it. Whenever you're a content creator, you do. It's like anyone who's an actor on the stage or anything. It's always kind of like you get your pre-stage fright type thing, or the dread or the fear. A lot of people before they go for a live stream, they go and throw up. It's just their body's reaction to like the fight or fright mechanism. I'm lucky that I've done enough streams now that I'm kind of like, yeah, whatever. Just whatever will be will be. If I keel over on a live stream, that's my greatest fear, by the way, keeling over on a live stream and people thinking it's a part of the act when it probably won't be. Anyway, yes,
I
Kath.
think when I start screaming, they would know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nick Barnes.
Nick Barnes. What's Nick Barnes say? Question, Mike. A while back, you did a review of a Zycel mesh. You thought you had replaced those, but couldn't find any more reviews. What mesh do you use now? I am currently using a Netgear system, which I'm trying to think who I actually bought it off of. I think I bought it off of Kev2427 in the Discord, and yeah, it's actually been really good. It's the Netgear RBS 50, I think is the model number, and that's the satellites RBS 50s, and I think it's the RBR 50 is the main router. But yeah, they've been, I wouldn't say flawless, but pretty much as close as you can imagine. I leave them on pretty much 24/7. I don't think I've actually had to reboot the routers in general for a fault of their own since I've had them.
George went out to leave his room unnecessarily for...
Yeah, they've been honestly very good, and if you can pick them up quite cheaply, which you probably can do now because I think they're only Wi-Fi 6. Let's have a look. Netgear. I think they're called the Orbi. Netgear Orbi. RBR 50, I think it is.
Oh, careful, baby.
Yeah, RBR. Like you can pick them up refurbished for like 40 quid. Yeah, RBR 50 Orbi home mesh system. You can pick them up on CEX for like 35-40 quid. They're normally dearer than that, I think, but yeah, it's pretty good. Let me see if I can share the screen.
They're fine, just insecure like me.
Yeah, there we go. RBR 50 Orbi AC 3000 tri-band router. End of service, so no additional firmware updates planned. So yeah, if you're buying into them, you're never going to get any more firmware updates, which is a shame. When I got it, it wasn't like that. I think I got mine probably over a year ago. I wonder if that's the same for the UK as well. No, they haven't got a UK. Oh well. So yeah, no more updates. So that's a shame. So I'll probably be looking at replacing those soon. Whether or not there'll be a third-party firmware for them, there may well be. They are very popular, and of course, if you wanted to, you can jailbreak them and put on something like what's it? OpenWRT or whatever it's called. But yeah, it's been very good. I've been very pleased with them. Although, having said that, as with anything these days, all the stuff that we tend to buy is only good for a couple of years anyway. You never buy things these days with the intent of, right, that's going to last me until I curl my toes and get put in a coffin. It's always like,
My
well...
trowel was. It came with a 25-year guarantee.
Oh, that's true.
See me out.
Yeah. There you go. OpenWRT, that's the one. I did try WOpenRT on the Zycels, because pretty much all routers these days, especially if you go from any big manufacturer, they got so many holes in them, or holes that can potentially be found. Yeah, all of them you're running a risk. Even WRT, OpenWRT ones and other derivatives, you are running some risks because they're all a target to some extent. It's just, yeah, how, well, where you live, I suppose, to some extent, and kind of your internet usage. And also, if you leave things like some of the ports open, you shouldn't really leave any ports open if you can possibly help it. Because that way people can't do port scans and things like that. Wayne Taylor says, that's why I stick with ASUS routers, due to never-ending Merlin firmware updates, including old models. I did actually consider ASUS routers at some point. There's been quite a few on sale recently. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's fine to leave one port open for that. Absolutely fine. So yeah, that's what I've been using, the RBR 50. Possibly, if I do upgrade again, I might go for a newer version of those Netgears. See what's actually, yeah, see what is new in a Netgear Orbi range. I've actually been pleasantly surprised. I thought it was just going to be, oh, here we go again. Another router, another mesh, which is going to be a pain in the ass eventually. Christ almighty, Wi-Fi 7 mesh packs are hella expensive. Like, insane. Like, £2,000-3,000. That's not going to happen. We're not playing those kinds of games. I think I'll be quite happy to go with... Christ, even Wi-Fi 6 ones aren't cheap. Wow. The wall mount kits are okay. So yeah, I might be on the lookout for a new mesh system. Orbi 750. Yeah. Anyone got any good ideas? Oh, what a mesh.
Go back to wired.
Yeah. I would love to go back to wired. Wired is so much easier. Well, other than when you have cats and they decide they want to eat cables.
They're cats though, they're not kittens.
Right. Build a router. I would need to build a mesh, not a router, but yeah, I get your idea. Sinister Chef says, my girlfriend uses the Deco unit. Has good luck with it. I've used it for a few years now. David Andrill says, Wi-Fi hacks are easy when most use low or no encryption for the passwords. Yeah, that is true. W. Denton says, the Deco BE75. That'll be Wi-Fi 7. That sounds expensive already. Right, let's have a look at this case. The HAF 5. Now this case, I've got a feeling I'm going to just send this straight back to Amazon. When I bought it, well, firstly, it was prior to Dave having the deals on the Montech cases. And the Montech case was kind of like what I was comparing this with in terms of the features and the size and the kind of the lighting, flexibility, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with this case. I'm pretty sure I'm going to unbox it, take a look at it, and then get an Amazon return label, because I've got up until I think April the 4th possibly to return it. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to grab the case. Talk amongst yourselves.
Arnold asks, have your cats ate an Ethernet cable?
Yeah. Well, they've chewed it. So I've just got to clean up some spilt tea. Calf's rubbish.
Where?
So either that or one of the cats hasn't wiped itself.
That's probably the angel slopping as she went.
Bloody kids. Right. That's actually a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be. Ow, but it hurts my shoulder down. Okay. Oh. Forgot to take the address off. I don't think that was our address anyway. I'll take it off regardless. Whose address is that? Oh, Amazon Way. That's all right. I can live with that. Don't think our address was on there. I'll double check that. It might have been in very small text. That's what happens when you do these things live, kids. The chances of the camera focusing on that are very limited, I would have thought. So anyway, that is the case. So it's the Coolermaster HAF 500, the Homecoming Classic. Yeah, about that. So this is a bizarre case. It has got two 200mm fans on the front. What's it like? Make it Anyway, yeah, two 200mm fans on the front, and it is basically a very old case design, slightly refreshed. But there's more labels on there. Destination, that's Amazon, that's all right. Yeah, it's been refreshed, but it's still, at its core, the HAF 500, which was actually quite a controversial case back in the day when it came out, because of the fact that it had a solid piece of glass on the front before they did the H500P mesh, I think it was. I'm not too sure. At the time, we were somewhat, I wouldn't say, well, yeah, we had issues with Coolermaster, let's say, for one reason or another. So we actually, it's probably better if I explain it. So we did a review.
Can I just...
Mike P. Hi all, have you thought of doing a video explaining the difference between motherboard onboard audio and GPU HDMI audio? I bet lots of people wouldn't know there is a difference. Yeah, we could probably do that. I think HDMI audio, I could be wrong with this, I'm not entirely 100% sure, I'll have to look into it myself. But I think motherboard HDMI audio just routes the internal audio through the HDMI port rather than through your sound card. Now I might be completely wrong there. They may be two separate subsystems, but I think that is the general idea. That it just routes it through. So it is using your onboard sound, but via the GPU. I'm going to get electric shock now. Ow, bastard. Oh, something sounds broken already. What we got here? HAF 500. I don't know why I bought this, really. I think I was just dazzled by the, oh, it's cheap. Probably someone asked for it ages and ages ago. Because it is quite an old case now. This was originally about £150 when it came out, I think. And is now down to the rock bottom price of, I think it was £68. Sorry about all the rattling there. I'm going to get a shock on this, aren't I? Well, that mesh is awful on the top. Okay. There. There we go. So you can see the front of it now, hopefully. You see it all of it? Just about. So in terms of design, you've got two massive ARGB fans on the front, 200mm. And does this come off? Does that even come off? Looks like it should. Jesus. Right, the front panel don't want to come off very easily, so it may well be screwed in place. So if that is the case, I'm just going to hit it with something. Oh, God. Looks like there are push tabs there, so that's probably why it didn't want to come out, because it's not one of those. You've got to push in tabs. I understand. Okay. So, massive fans on the front. Actually, if I take off the glass side panel, then Kath can stop hiding. And the thumb screw has been put on by Hercules himself. Hercules, Hercules. I'll tell you what though, the build quality of this is flipping excellent. That glass panel weighs about 17 tons. What we got, Babs? Dutch Jan, £10 super chat, thank you very much. It says to buy a decent case, you hurtful bastard. Charles Butler says when all fails, read the manual. Hey, I didn't come here to read manuals. Thanks, Dutch Jan. £10 for a nicer case, you bastard. I like your style though. Right, let me see if I can get this front panel off before I destroy something else. That's better. Right, I've worked out how to take this off now. So there's little push tabs which you push in, like they made cases back in the old days. So got little push tabs. One there, one there, one there. I know.
Do they actually have one?
They do have a manual, to be fair, but no reading. It's purely pictograms. So yeah, there's some mad stuff going on in this case. Mad stuff. One of the mad things of this case, well, actually the maddest thing obviously is going to be the fans on the front, because those are massive. They're huge. And they've actually got the outside plastic bits as well to maintain some of the angular velocity of the blade, although most of it's blocked off by metal, to be fair.
Andy Archer says, yes, Jan, that was enough for 2 better cases.
Wow, you guys, hurtful, but accurate. So yeah, massive, massive fans there. Plastic around the outside, yeah. Almost, actually.
Where the screw holes are on the fans there, coolermaster only.
Well, that's what I was just looking at, because I've got a sneaking suspicion that that has got the same hole spacing as the Noctua fans, which I've never, ever, ever been able to fit inside of a case. And I reckon if you go over to the Noctua site, I'm not going to do it myself because I've got viewers to do that sort of thing. Let's have a look.
2 times hardware drive.
Ugh.
Hard drive tray.
Yeah,
What
it is.
did I even say? Hard.
I think the Noctua NF-A20 PWMs will fit in this. And it'll be the first case ever.
Keep it then,
So I might have to keep it then.
just to show it fits
Yeah.
in something.
There's a super chat from our good friend of the channel, Rusher. Rusher. €20. Where's my mouse gone? Oh, there it
Just
is.
to turn the light off on the case.
Yeah. Rusher says, I have a nickname for my workmate. It's Daisy. Some days in, some days isn't. Good. Well done. Good stuff. I like that. Thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Right, I think these are going to fit. I think for the first time ever since I got these fans, we may have actually found a case where these will fit. Although, I doubt if the screws will. But let's have a look-see. Where we're looking there.
Right,
Yeah.
not a fan of how it looks so far.
I think this will fit. I think those actually will fit. Unbelievable. But does it come with long enough screws to actually mount the sucker? I don't think it does.
Sorry,
No, it doesn't come with any screws.
the mounts are different because of the cost now.
Right, let's have a look. I'm pretty sure these fans are going to be 25mm, whereas the Noctuas I think are slightly more.
Skywalker's in.
Hey Sky! How you doing? We may have actually found a case that these fans fit. Unbelievable. Oh, that's a bit tight in there. Loosen off some of this. That's better. Okie dokie. Yeah, a lot of metal there, aren't there, in the way?
RGB?
No. Well, the ones that come with it are, but the ones that we've got here are not.
Aren't they too thick?
Probably. Yes, the screws don't go all the way through.
Not a very good place you've got the camera there because it's a bit blurry all the time.
Yeah, sorry.
Or,
Yeah, the screw basically is about a couple of millimeters short. So, no. I think it would actually fit, but I think we'd have to find some screws because that will go there. Yeah, it would fit. And it's actually only a couple of millimeters deeper than the ones that are there already. So yeah, if I can find some screws, some slightly longer screws.
Can't you use the ones that come out the other Can't you use the ones that came out of the coolermaster?
They're narrower fans, so the screws aren't long enough.
I'll get you.
Because they're only threaded at the end
I
of that.
thought you had the screws, but they're not.
Yeah, the screws are only threaded at the very end. So, yeah, there's
Cable
not...
ties, aren't they?
Cable ties, we could do cable ties. Actually, saying that, I have got somewhere that was sent to me ages and ages ago by one company, some fan mounting rubbers.
Oh, I've just seen those Velcro ties.
Did it remind you of Ugly Bob?
It did.
Oh. Oh, crap. Those might be longer.
The tie says use normal thick thread fan screws from inside.
They've got nothing to grip onto though. Well, I see what, yeah, I know.
Yeah, if you put the fan on the outside,
I see what you mean.
the inside, they don't have to go right.
Okay. I don't think it'll go through that hole though, because the hole for the let's see if I can get you a close up. So the screw hole for the fans is that one there. So that's a machine thread. So I won't get standard fans holes to come through there. And I don't think those other ones are going to be spaced out far enough. If you can see that. But yeah, I agree with the principle there.
Drill.
They would have to be drilled out, in which case then I'm not going to be able to send them back. I know what I could try. This is going to be a little bit of a bodge, but it's all in the name of science, he says. Oh, why don't my thing of cable ties now? There we go. There's a couple, that'll do.
Would the front panel fit the extra depth of the fans?
That is, again, something which I'm not entirely sure of.
Why 200mm fans if there's any steel behind it?
Because it's coolermaster.
It would be a waste of not to put fans. They're a waste anyway because we've never found anything to
Yeah, they are a waste. They've been basically collecting... Oh, crap. I've just put the cable tie on and forgot to put the fan in the middle of the cable tie. Right. That was daft.
That will do. Mounting rubbers brings back memories when I was 18.
Yeah, I just broke that off. Yeah, the mounting rubbers are going to be a little bit too narrow. Where are my cable ties? Come on. Why does my brain hurt so much? I put them in a bag. I said to myself, I'll put all my cable ties... there we go. I'll put all my cable ties in a nice neat bag. And there we go. Sorry for the noise.
Susan Robbins, if I had that case, I would get out the nibbling tool and open it up in the front more.
I think it does need it.
I was going to tell Otis off then, Poppy. Not to be like you.
Right, so if you put a cable tie through there, hopefully that was going to hold that in place. And then you get another cable tie and put that onto the other cable tie behind.
David Underhill's off because he's got to mow the lawn before it gets too hot.
Oh dear. Okay. Have fun.
That's what that feels like.
Yeah, heat, remember that? Right, let's see if this lines up on the other side. I think I tried doing this before. It didn't work out particularly great.
this AC with the big fans.
At the moment, this is just a kind of like a work in progress to see if these will actually physically fit in there. I'm pretty sure that on the Notcher website it does state that these are okay for it. Again, I could be wrong. Come on. I will be very pleased actually if these do physically fit, because again, I've been messing around with these fans now for probably, it's got to be getting on to be about 4 years now, maybe even longer. Possibly pre-COVID actually, so kind of 5 years.
Put one through each hole on the fan, and then use the head of another to hold it inside.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Pretty much.
Sorry, I'm a bit funny.
So I think-
would rather burn down my shop than do this.
Well, if you've got insurance, it might be worth doing.
You can get the long, scratchy rubber fan retainers.
Yeah, I've got some somewhere, but they are designed for the standard fan mounts, where you've got the coarse threaded screws. But these,
All that's like airflow.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be particularly
No,
great.
no airflow from the front.
Well, I would disagree with that, because I've used this sort of design before with the Lian Li 215 and also the GameMax F15 mesh. And even though a lot of it is blocked off, it still does produce an awful lot of air. And airflow has never been a challenge for that. So I don't think this would be a problem. But yeah, that seems to fit. The only thing is, can I put the front panel back on? I'm going to guess probably not. And actually I've got to disconnect that fan at the top, because I won't be able to...
Wasting cable size, lol.
That's right, they're a tax deductible. They're a tool, or a sundry. So it's all right. It's all good.
Survey says no.
Our survey said
Wolfman, why is only one RGB?
well, there you go. It fits, and the front panel is back in place. It fits.
Nice work, I am a big fan.
Yeah, that actually seems to work.
Excellent as shit.
Who said that?
Who do you think?
That's Jan.
No.
Um,
Bye.
oh, sorry. Thanks. Appreciate that. Right. Now I've got to try and get the front panel back off again.
It's the yin yang fan combo.
It is very much so. I don't want to come back out.
Sorry, I'm here all night.
Oh dear.
Are both around the same spot?
No. They would
Light them up. Lol.
set them on fire. Right. Well, we know finally there is actually a case on the market that those fans can sort of fit. Well, it got further than a lot of the others have, because at least I managed to get the case front panel back on with the Lian Li 215 and also the GameMax F15. That wasn't even a thing. I had to get the I had to get the Dremel out.
Black fan looks better than the white. If this Mike's only fans video.
This is it. This is the end now. I've peaked. There's gonna be little bits of sticky plastic all around the place tomorrow. Oh, come on.
Do you need that piece back?
No. So when I do the Amazon return and they say, why you return this case, I'm just going to point them to this video and say, look, this is what Sai and others think of your case. They said it sucks.
Better than the Verge PC video.
Yeah. Only marginally.
What, not building a computer in its day?
No. I think this is going to end up going back. Because it is, it's pretty horrid. Like, for its time, when it came out, it would have been somewhat within its kind of peers. But times have moved on, and case designs have improved. And it seems, I don't know if I'm kind of on my own with this or not, or whether everyone else thinks this, but do you think that Coolermaster have been kind of left behind in terms of case design? Bearing in mind that Coolermaster were pretty much like the boys when Montech kind of fell out of favour. Coolermaster were the kind of almost like the go-to brand for a lot of people, and unfortunately a lot of those cases were also crap, such as the Master Box and the Master Box Lights, which the Q300, which was an absolute abysmal case, which I reviewed and basically panned it, saying it's absolutely awful, please no one should ever buy this. And I got so much hate on that video, it was unbelievable. They're like, no, it's a great case, you're just doing it all wrong. And then Gamers Nexus comes out with a review saying basically exactly what I said, and it's like, thank you, Steve.
And we could turn the comments back on.
I turned the comments back on then, yeah.
We didn't see you turn them off, but it was horrendous every day.
Oh, it was just like
Thousands of
the amount of grief I was getting. Yeah, not thousands, but hundreds of comments every week saying I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. It's like, well, I kind of do. I'm not, like, even the blind could see it.
Tea bag, didn't you?
Yeah, well,
Another giant tea bag.
it was like a giant tea bag inside of another tea bag. It was awful, absolutely awful. But there was a lot of people that just yeah, couldn't cope. The other YouTubers were showing the video and it's like, oh, this is a great case, you should really buy one. It's like, no, this absolutely sucks, it's horrible. Anyway, some weird features of this case, other than the 200mm fans. So on the front, there is a adjustable fan. So you can basically adjust this fan into the path of your graphics card, or to pull heat off of your hard drives. Yeah, basically whatever you want to do to it, it's kind of your choice really. And cable covers on the back, that's the something which is a bit of a novelty. You've got pass-throughs there, those are kind of nice, rubber grommets, space on the back for another 2.5 inch drives, fully removable PCI Express slots. Obviously got these cages there, removable drive cages. That's a bit of a blast in the past these days. And they've got the, I think they're the bendy ones, so they just clip onto a drive and slide back in. And they lock in quite nicely. Remember when we used to have drives like this in a computer, 3.5 inch drives? It's quite rare to see them these days. In terms of other pass-throughs on the bottom, so you've got stuff down there for, not a lot down there actually, for passing through your cables for your audio and all that kind of stuff. We've got another RGB fan in the back, which you probably can't see from that angle, but yeah, there is another RGB fan in the back, which is a 4-pin PWM, so that's cool.
Why are the drive bays this side?
Well, that was how it used to be back in the day. You get a lot of cases which had drive bays facing outward for some bizarre reason.
Any floppy drives?
No floppy drives, no, it's not quite that old. But it does have USB Type-C on the front. I'm wondering if I got... Yeah, there is actually a SATA on the back there. So we can plug in the fans and see what they're like. We'll see it. We'll see what it's like.
Got a tape recorder.
Has it got a tape recorder? No. It's got long wave on it.
Do you want to go out, Flamey?
It's funny isn't it, how case designs fall out of favour so quickly. But to be fair, this is actually built really nicely. The build quality is excellent. It's extremely solid,
Well, you're miserable, you are, Flamey.
but it does also extremely suck in some respects. PWM. Okay, right, let's power this up and see what it actually sounds and or looks like. Let's move that there. Where is my power supply adapter? There we go. And I need a plug.
Andre's back.
Hey, Andre.
Says, I haven't been able to catch you guys live for a hell of a long time.
Well, we're glad you made it. You probably won't enjoy it much, but hey. What about my jazz drive says 0 defects?
Where does that case spit out the punch cards?
Oh, God. Come on. I know there's a plug socket there somewhere. This is where I get electrocuted. That reminds me of the old days when me and Kath first got together. It's like, how'd you get this bloody brass strap off? Sorry. Okay. Let's plug that in there. And have we got a SATA? SATA connection?
Now I'm in Bristolian.
SATA.
Apple.
Here, mate, where's those saddles? Got those saddles on there? Yarp. Okay.
Bang!
Pish. Okay.
Hi.
What did he say? Did he jump?
Read it. No.
What did Sai say? Something disrespectful.
Yeah.
One day you'll work it out.
No dying next one.
Or let her take your bra off. Why?
Andre's friend hasn't lost their car in quite a while.
Oh, well done.
That
Yeah.
was mad, wasn't it? Like, dude, where's my car?
Right, there's something wrong with the RGB immediately. Noticing it? Some of the RGB lights aren't illuminating in the right places.
It's a bit harder to see on the camera, isn't it? Or is it easier?
They're quite vivid colours though, to be fair.
Not on, well, I suppose on here somehow. But the camera doesn't do them justice anyway, does it?
I think it might be on air.
Looks like a reel-to-reel system before floppy released.
So if you look at the RGB, it's supposed to be moving around, I think. But it's got like colours appearing from random places, or maybe that is the design, I don't know.
Something's wrong with the RGB. Oh yeah, RGB.
Wow. That's hurtful. Who's being hurtful?
Alexa.
Aletta, stop it. So these fans, I think, are running at full speed.
Looks normal here. If normal is poop. Reminds me of the F-15.
It does. It's very much like the F-15. Yeah, I've seen worse.
F-15 doesn't fit 200mm fans.
Yes?
Well, not the noctua ones.
Yeah. Actually, now I've got it fired up, I actually don't dislike it. Although the fans are making a weird noise.
Do a finger test.
Yep, fingers will stop fans. Hopefully they'll start up again one day. There we go. Yeah, the fans seem to have a very, very low RPM. If I disconnect the one on the back...
Full speed, 6 RPM, 120 dB.
Yeah, can you hear that? There's like a... You get the microphone a little bit closer so you can hear it. Strange noise coming from that.
Have you got a smoke machine to demonstrate the flow through?
I haven't, no. We've got any joysticks or anything, Kath? Or any of that stuff? What's that? You know, incense sticks? No, we don't have those things, I'm afraid, sorry. I do need a smoke machine for smoke testing. Funny enough, actually, I was trying to do some the other day. I got out my old vape, but it's not been charged in probably 3 or 5 years.
More like 7.
Yeah, probably longer than that.
Actually 5. Probably 20 it's probably used.
Yeah, it hasn't been used for a long, long time, so... wonder if George could do his vape.
Or you could just borrow it.
Yeah. Don't think it would prove very much, though, other than the fact that the fans are rubbish.
And vapes aren't very good, are they? Make things mouldy.
To be fair, there is quite a bit of air moving through there. But it's hard to demonstrate it. What can I set fire to?
Bearings always go in these cheap and long blades, easily unbalanced.
Yeah, you can see, you can hear that it isn't balanced.
Use it at 4 or 5 minutes, yeah. The noise is from the massive obstruction of the airflow.
I don't think it, I think the noise is mostly from the motor. The motor don't sound brilliant. But then, effectively, they are running at full speed, which
Burn a piece of
you
paper.
wouldn't.
Burn a couple of Rizzler packets in front of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I need something to put in front of it, really. So, I can't
What's
think of
that
it.
thing I got? Have I still got that? Like, acupuncture cigar thing.
I don't know, what's that?
No, I forgot what it's called.
There's an air test. Paper sticks to the front of the grill. Sometimes. Not often. If you get it on the right angle. And it's still moving there. Right, Kath's looking for something appropriate. That worries me immensely.
No, I don't think I got it.
Oh.
Years ago. Remember that stuff my mum used to burn on her toes?
Oh, well, yeah, I know what you
Like
mean.
weed.
Yeah, Japanese stuff, isn't it?
No,
No?
acupuncture, Chinese.
Oh yeah, same thing, isn't it? They, it's all Oriental, I guess. I don't know what to say about this case. I don't think I like it really much. It feels a little bit
Hi Amazon, I'd like to make a return.
wibbly. Yeah, there's not much structural rigidity to it.
You should make an Amazon account in J.R. Hartley. Name.
Yeah. Have you got... let's go to the overhead camera a minute.
I got some sage.
Got some sage? Burn the sage.
Yeah?
Get the sage out. Woo!
Burn sage.
We're going to burn some sage right now. While we're on the overhead view, I'll put it down on the side so you can see what's going on. So in the back, you've got obviously your wiring, you've got your cable grommets. Now, the good thing about this is you can actually use a EATX board, and then you can just move the grommets over into the next position. You've got your hub there, big cutout there, pre-mounted grommets in there for 2.5 inch drives. So it's not too bad at all, really. You could fit a lot of stuff in here. It's got quite a deep cable management trough as well, which is pretty cool. Right, how do I burn sage then? Is there like an art to it or something? How do I burn sage? And will it set off the fire alarms? Right, we'll go back to this. I honestly don't know how this is going to turn out, so rest in peace, everybody.
Might don't singe your hair.
Am I supposed to smoke this?
No.
Don't think that's doing much. Let's turbocharge that up a bit. Yeah, now we're talking. Woohoo!
Come on, Jimmy.
So yeah, I was hoping this was going to be a bit more smoky than it actually is. I don't even know if
Bet that stinks.
it smells a bit like sage, which is weird because it's sage. Are you sure you're not supposed to do something to this to make it burn? I really want to take a drag on it, but I know if I do, it'll probably be the end of me. Okay, that might be better. Let's leave it upside down. So it's
Aren't you might put it nearer the fan?
maybe that doesn't really.
Well, it is drawn towards it, isn't it? Turn the,
It's massively drawn towards it. Yeah, if you
stop the fans, and then you can see. You need it to have something black behind it because you can't really see.
let's turn off the power supply. It's not really proving much, is it? This whole sage and onion stuff going on is not. We got any onions we could burn?
Got some cheese. Mike's unboxing reviews on Mary Jane.
Yeah, we could do it with a big old biff turkey, can't we? That'll do it. Right, that is I don't think we're really proving much here, other than that smoke moves through the air.
But can you turn the case around and see if it's coming through into the case?
You can't see it, really. It's such a light smoke anyway, you can't really see it. You can, yeah, it is coming through. You can see it just about. Can we turn that light off, Calf, the big one?
Blow it, Mike. You need much more dense smoke.
Yeah. Try and find a good angle to get it so it shows smoke, but it does. There isn't really a good angle at all.
Making pretty patterns though, it's like a kaleidoscope.
Actually, I can see it out the side of the case. There's loads of smoke.
Nice.
What's kaleidoscope in?
When you've got that torch going around with all those cutouts and stuff.
Oh. Right, so the burning of sage appears to be a little bit of a
Put
thing.
it inside and put the sides on.
I don't think that's going to help. Unless I'm trying to set fire to it, in which case that would be the perfect solution. It does smell of sage here now. Right, why does sage not burn? Isn't it meant to burn? Like continually or something?
No, it's just nice. So you sage in it. For evil spirits and stuff.
Warding off evil spirits. Be gone, evil coolermaster case. I banish you to somewhere else other than my house. Anyway. So,
Oh, Bobby D.
yeah.
You're burning sage in there, Babs.
I honestly don't know what to say about this case. I do actually kind of like it in terms of the build quality. The fans are actually okay. They would be much better at a lower RPM.
Why so much effort for this thing?
Who said that? Why so much effort on this thing? Dutch Jan. Well, I've got to show it.
Stop. We can sage all cases from now on.
Yeah. Major selling point here, case has demons removed. Yeah, this has now no bad spirits.
That case needs all the good karma it can get.
And the case fans are DC, not PWM. That's got to count against something, surely.
Case is truly smudged.
I don't know what smudge means, but
That's what you do with sage.
Oh, really?
That's called smudge sticks.
Is it? I learned a thing today.
You learned it when you bought it for me for my birthday. You bought it without doing any research for it, didn't you?
I did. I've seen it and I thought, yeah, that looks like a great idea. We should definitely buy that. And yeah, that was probably the buying of the Sage was probably the better idea than the buying of this case. And now
Giving it a longer review than paid influencers.
That's true. I have. I think most paid influencers actually quite liked it, but I've got mixed feelings. I'll be honest.
Rally, if the Sage is tightly bundled, it should stop smoking on its own when you stop fanning it.
Right. Well, it seemed to stop smoking. Have I got to undo the bandage or something then to make it smoke more?
No, it just matter move it, I think.
I'm not sure which is the biggest disappointment, the HAF 500 or the Sage burning. I think they both are equally as bad as each other. Weirdly, the fan on the back, the 120mm, is actually really like blasting. But then it's because it's a 120mm fan, it's hard to mess those up, really.
Charles Ballard, your wife had a smudge stick in the house and you didn't know what it was.
I bought it! I bought the smudge stick! She has been warding off evil demons. Mostly my mum. and or others. I think mostly my mum though. So yeah, I don't know. Hey, James Miscellaneous is in the house.
He's been in the house from the beginning.
I know, but he said he was eating or doing something. James Miscellaneous says, Kath sounds like Mike's faint inner voice off camera. It is like, yeah, like the little devil in my head.
Like what are they called?
Si says I offer 30p for the whole thing.
The numbskulls.
Done.
I'm like the little numbskull.
The numbskull in my head. Left arm move up. Huh? What there?
Shovel the food at the bottom of your throat.
£70 down the drain. No. This will be going back to our good friends at Amazon. And yeah, it's to be honest with you, if it wasn't for the fact that I've already got a lot of other cases here at the moment, I would be possibly tempted to keep this because it actually has quite a lot of nice features like USB Type-C, loads of RGB, tons of room to work in, lots of options for radiator mountings and all that kind of stuff. Really, this is my kind of case. It's just it's not been executed particularly well. Even at the reduced price, I would still, if I was given the choice of having this over the Montech 903 Air, or Air Max as it's known, that is the better choice, and that would end up being, well, that's £59.99 plus £5 postage. This was like £68, so kind of within a few pounds difference between the two. And I think the Montech 903 would beat this hands down. Better airflow, because you've got two 200s on the front, which are relatively restricted by the framing, whereas the Montech, you've got three 140s, which are basically unobstructed, and an additional 140 on the back as well. So yeah, considerably better airflow in that. But having said that, this, like I said, this has got some things which I do like about it. The build construction is weird because it's like, it feels like it's really well made, but then you grab it on a certain angle and it flexes. But I think that's because they haven't put a full length tray in there to kind of soak it all up. We should have a look at the bottom actually, see what's going on the bottom, because it's sometimes that's a good place to look at. So yeah, you've got a half decent filter on the back, which is better than the just plain metal ones which we tend to get. I think the drive tray thing has been done quite well. You can remove that if you want to in its entirety, so if you want a bit more room down there you can. This fan I think is a little bit of a gimmick. In fact, it's a lot of a gimmick. I can't see any point of having that fan there at all. I'll do that nice and tight so it doesn't move around too much in shipping when it returns. I don't want to get charged for that. But yeah, I don't think it's awful. There's a massive gap on the side.
€30, Amazon Germany.
Bloody hell, that's way too much, isn't it?
Don't even get thrown in any sage smudge sticks.
What did James say? I'm just trying to read back. Mike, will you have to pay return and postage this Fire phone? No.
James said, can't see it now.
RLG says Mike will drive to Amazon Centre to drop it before he pays to ship it. I don't know. The thing is, the Amazon return centre for us here in the Bristol area is in Avonmouth, and driving to Avonmouth is like taking your life into your own hands. It's a very strange place, Avonmouth. It's the old kind of dock area, and
It still is.
it's full of some very peculiar people.
Called Jeff.
Called Jeff. My name is Jeff.
With his exterior and interior.
Jeff was a guy we worked with years and years ago, and he was so funny. He come out with things and he didn't even know it was funny. You just say things and they were like hilarious. He was talking about his job because he was a security guard, and he was saying, "Yeah, I do my my interior and exterior searches on a night." It's like, okay. I don't think they call them exterior. I think they refer to them normally as exterior. But if you like exterior, then we'll go with that. Exterior is a word. We can add that to the dictionary if you like. And then he said about his son's dead dad.
No, yeah.
It was, yeah. He was saying,
My son's dead dad.
my son's dead dad. It's like, well, if your son's
Our
dad's
brains were
dead,
like so
that's
puzzled.
you zombie. Yeah, he come out with some classics, absolute classics.
Loads of them, weren't there, and we couldn't even look at each other.
Me and Kath would be driving home. He'd be sat in the back of our car, and we'll be driving, and we'll be just there. You could just see, like,
shoulders trembling.
I'd look at Kath, and I could see her cheeks like puffing up, and then she'd be looking at me, and my shoulders would be like, just like trying to close my eyes so I don't laugh, but also keep an eye on the road as well. If I was driving, or Kath would be doing the same. And we'd be there just like shaking, trying to keep the laughter in. It was hilarious. We weren't doing it to be unkind, because he was okay. But just some of the things he come out with is like absolutely hilarious. The interior and exterior. That was the one that got me. I think, actually, wasn't it? When he said my son's dead dad, and me and Kath like both turned around at the same time and just looked at each other, and then immediately looked away, because we knew if we didn't look away, we would just lose it. That was pretty funny. I guess it's one of those things where you had to be there, really, but...
I was puzzled.
It was good fun.
You're thinking you'd be having a permanent
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. Right, has anyone seen Dave Aitken in the chat yet? Has he been in there? Have we managed to flog all of his motherboards and stuff yet? Oh, dear. Sorry?
You have to buy suitcases because they sent half
But
our old one.
very good. Right, I'm going to put some tape on that box so they don't get cat hairs all in it.
that shit off my desk.
Yeah.
Skystalker missed it while Steve's selling there.
Some cheap motherboards, some cheap cases, and some cheap RAM, and some cheap processors. And I think that is about it.
Has that case got good interior packaging?
The exterior
We might
packaging
have
is
to do
excellent.
that in our reviews.
Yeah.
The interior packaging.
Right, I'm going to grab one of Dave Aitken's PCs that he's selling at the moment, or the cases, so you can have a look. Right, into the abyss, otherwise known as the front room. A little bit of an echo in here because the butler's got some time off, so you know it is. Right, which one has got a CPU in it? So that's got a CPU in it. Good stuff. Oh god, getting too old for this shit. Talking to myself. I should be on Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunters, I crap myself. As soon as the ghost said anything, I'll be like, oh shit, where's my sage? Right. Now time to look at something completely different. This is the Montech Mesh Air Max thing. These are currently on sale for about 40 quid for Dave Aitken, if you want one. It's in the Discord chat. Again, I'll put the links in the chat. There we go. So,
When are you doing spring cleaning for Graham?
eh?
When are you doing spring cleaning for Graham?
Oh, I don't know.
You ain't old, mate.
I'm not. I just feel it.
Get a back trolley and save your back. We ain't got room.
So, nice mesh front, revealing a much nicer array of fans, in my opinion. So, 3 140 ARGB Montech fans, which is always nice to see.
Does it come with the motherboard?
It doesn't come with a motherboard, not for 40 quid. But this is basically how the cases were when they were being used in the data center type thing.
Careful.
Let's take the side panel off so CAF doesn't get all exposed. Stay there. So, this is what he's been selling. So the cases, the power supply that's in here is a Thermaltake Tough Power,
Has it been smudged?
whatever. It's not been smudged as of yet. Tough Power 850 watts, gold edition, fully modular power supplies. The motherboard is the ASRock B550 Pro 4, as you can probably already see. Processors, got some processors going. Those are Ryzen 7 5700s. RAM I didn't go for, but he has got a whole bunch of Corsair Vengeance. They're 64 gig kits on DDR4 3200 or 3600, and they are at very, very good prices. So if you think you might need 64 gigs of RAM and you want to pay very, very little for it and know that they're all matched pairs, he's got some available at the moment. I'll have to look on the Discord to see how much the prices are, or you can head over there and just have a look in the bargains section and see what the deal is. But yeah, nice case. The motherboards are excellent value, about £67.50 I think he was asking for them, which for a ASRock B550 Pro 4 is very cheap. Even on AliExpress. Who's moaning about ASRock now? That's Jan, no, Viali. Bin it. It's half the price, 80 quid offer, says Rasher. Does it come in white? Unfortunately not, no. So yeah, it's good stuff. I like it. It's nice.
IO shield built in.
IO shield comes included, but it's not built in. You can build it in, but it doesn't come built in. Although it kind of looks like it is, because of the way that heatsink goes over the top of the shield. But yeah, if you think about this, this is like basically the shell of what could be a really nice little flip PC. So looking like 40 quid for the case. Almost 70 quid for the motherboard, so that's 130. The processors I think were 90, so that's what, 220. Power supply I think was about 60, 70 quid, so say like 300 quid. Chucking a bit of RAM, graphics card, and you're off to the races. And the Ryzen 7 5700 is a pretty nice little processor. You've got 8 cores, 16 threads. is pretty decent. So if you want to do a bit of work,
Back, like,
the back. Let's have a look.
pretty rare.
This is going to be showing off Dave's wiring, so I've not looked in here yet.
I keep thinking of Dave the cat. You're saying it so seriously.
So how neat is it? Oh, he's done a pretty nice job. So you've got a built-in fan hub for all the fans, obviously. You've got all the wiring's been nicely done there. SATA cable for the SATA power for that. That could be a little bit neater, I guess, but not really a lot you can do. That's one of the things with these Montech hubs. They've got quite a short SATA plug on them, rather than going all the way down into the basement. But yeah, considering it's just been kind of relatively thrown together just to be used, not too bad at all. And you've got all the drive cages on there. The motherboard I/O isn't particularly good. You haven't got many USBs. So you've got 6 USBs, VGA output and an HDMI, if you're going to be using that. But LAN, I think it's 1 gig LAN. So it's nothing too outrageous. But again, for the money, you could put, well, if I put in, say for instance, the 6700 XT, that's like a 220 quid graphics card in there, maybe another 30 quid for RAM, kind of like 500-600 quid for like a half decent PC, which will still be okay for 1080p and some light 1440p gaming with the 12 gig card there. And it would look quite nice as well, I think, personally. It's not an offensive case in any way, shape or form. Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent value proposition. Or, alternatively, if you just want to buy any of that stuff and just flip it, sell it on Facebook Marketplace, put a few quid on it, like the case, you could probably put on there for like, get a tenner extra. Motherboard, you could probably sell on there for, I don't know, 90, 100 quid. So you make yourself 20, 30, 40 quid. Processor, you probably find someone who'll buy it for like 100, 120. So there's definitely some flippable items in there. And the power supply, the Thermaltake Tough Power supply, that is the only thing really which was overkill, because these had RTX 4090s in, and obviously a 4090 needs a proper power supply. So power supplies are a little bit kind of overrated for the job. 850 watt, gold rated. So yeah, power supplies, I would say probably for a flip PC, not a brilliant idea, but for a half decent PC, pretty good value for money. Ventilation on the bottom, if I remember rightly, is, yeah, removable grill, bit bigger than the Coolermaster.
PC that has been on probably 24/7.
Yeah, it was left on, I think the total hours on was about 8,000 hours. So I'm not sure what's 8,000 hours. Hey Siri, how many days in 8,000 hours?
8,000 hours is 333.
So yeah, it's 3,300 million days. I'm kidding, just over 300 days. So basically it's been on for a year. And that was literally all it did. They turned them on, they set up a graphic that it was running, and they just hammered the shit out of the graphics card.
Captain Robbius.
The system was sat there just going... What's that?
Captain Robbius is off.
Hey, Captain Robbius, and goodbye, Captain Robbius. Hopefully have a nice weekend. What time is it? 10:30. Blimey. Yeah, they've been, well, considering they've been in a air-conditioned server farm type environment, not exactly a clean room, but pretty much as close as you can get, and being that it's been on for a year constantly, there's basically, like, there's a tiny little bit of dust in there. That could have been even from me just having them in here.
Rasher's off.
Cheers, Rasher. So yeah, I think these are cracking value. Again, the motherboard and the processor alone, 90 quid for the processor, 67.50 for the motherboard. So yeah, like 150 quid for a nice AMD AM4 B550 chipset and a decent 5000 series processor. I think that's cracking value. Like, even if you bought into the AM5 stuff, you'd be looking at 150 quid just for a kind of a 7600 at the moment. So you're still going to need to spend another 100, 120 quid on a motherboard. And in terms of gaming performance, you're probably not going to see a huge amount of difference. Most games these days, other than like loading times, the percentage lows might be slightly better. Again, depends on the rest of the system, like the RAM, if you get low latency RAM and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. Sai says, I'll sell you some dust. I'm pretty sure I've got some here somewhere. I'll see if I can find it. That's the only thing I don't like about these cases, actually. They're kind of, they don't, the back panel doesn't always want to fit in particularly snugly. Scott Gordon's in the house. How you doing, Scott Gordon? Ah, there we go. That was my fault. Can't build a decent PC under 700 quid these days, says Ivory Wolfman. It's hard to. It's hard to. Fun enough, me and Kath were looking through some old videos the other day, and the PC that I actually use in my work on a Sunday, the car shop that I work at, the PC I built for them was 250 quid. And that was with a Ryzen 3000G on a A320 motherboard with like a 450 watt power supply, 16 gigs of RAM in a AeroCool case. I can't remember the model of it. It was like 250 quid. And bizarrely, that PC is still running to this day. It's been on almost every single day since I built it. Like, it's got to be 3 years ago now, at least. Maybe even 4.
Rasher says, talking on that, when I said I'm out, I meant when I heard how long the PC was running.
Right.
But then you just said yours has been on for 5 years, hasn't it?
Oh god, yeah. Yeah. Alright.
Have you got the netty part?
Are you struggling? Oh dear. Who's that? Right, got you. The I actually, because the drives, where are they? Oh, there. I got the drives out, and that's how I got the how long they've been in use for. So the Western Digitals, you can fire up their software, and it says it's been running for like 8,000 hours, and I think it was like double digits for the power on times. So very, very low power on times. It's basically just been left to its own devices running. So that's pretty good. And the drive health was at 100%. So 100%, can't go wrong. And again, they were so clean and tidy, it was absolutely ridiculous. So I think that is, that's it from there. What else do I have to say? There was something else I had to say and or do. Can't remember what it was now. Oh, that was what we were going to talk about. Windows and Windows 11 and Windows LTSC. So this week, actually, because of one of those other similar systems to that, which I've been messing around with this week, which was one of those motherboards, the AM5 boards, I was playing around with that, and I thought I'm going to try and install the legendary operating system that is Windows 11 LTSC. And I must admit, I am quite pleasantly surprised. It does seem to be possibly the answer to a lot of our prayers. It's a very, very, very minimal system install. Doesn't even come with the Microsoft Store as standard, which some people may like, some people may dislike. Some people do use bits that are inside Microsoft Store. So yeah, for some of you that might be problematic. You can install the Microsoft Store afterwards, but it doesn't come pre-installed. So it basically comes pre-installed with almost nothing. And I will be making a video on it, but I'm trying to find somebody or a location where we can get hold of license keys so we can actually legally license it. Because I think a lot of people, that's what it comes down to. If you can't legally license your Windows software, it's a little bit problematic. Oh, I'll put that in there. And speaking of problematic, give me 5 minutes. I'm just going to nip to the loo, and then we'll talk about it. So I'm going to put you on the standby. There we go. Hopefully we are back. Are we back? We're back. Is this working? 1, 2. Yes, we are. There we go. The after dark stream. There we go. Sorry, anybody? If you want to join in, actually, let's finish my tea off first. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Oh, that's good. That's better. Booze, weed, and tea. Right, where were we? Okay, yeah, talking about Windows and Windows 11 LTSC. LTSC stands for Long-Term Service Candidate, I think. Maybe the C might be slightly wrong, but I think it's Long-Term Service Candidate. It's good. It's very good. I very much find it extremely snappy. It actually reminded me of the old days of Windows 98, where it was like a very basic install. Very nice indeed, so yes. Firephone says, Mike, is Bristol the best city to live in the UK? Probably not. Don't think so. It's okay. There's a lot of things going for it. There's a lot of things going against it. The traffic is absolutely horrendous. I don't think it quite compares to Florida, Central Florida traffic, but it's not a million miles off. And I would argue that on its worst days, it's probably on par with London. A lot of people dislike travelling into Bristol. Yeah, it's not too bad. I think if I was going to go and live anywhere in the UK, other than where I am now, would probably be like Exmouth or something like that, somewhere a bit more coastal. I would like to be Exmouth, Exeter, Devon, that kind of Dorset type area, I think. Maybe a bit further down. The trouble is, you go a bit too further down, you get a little bit too far down. Like Torquay's probably okay. Cornwall, I think, is probably a bit too far. A little bit kind of out on a limb there. Rick says, Bristol is too close to Wales for my liking. Bath, no. Bath, I think, is worse than Bristol, definitely. Si says, don't come to Kent, it's shit. I wouldn't... Although, I think Si, where Si's shop is actually like about a street or two away from the beach. So, like, you're living the dream. I think I'm right in saying that. Is your shop near the coast? Or by the seaside? I'm pretty sure there's a load of Chinese curry shops or Indian curry houses along the front promenade. And then you take a right and follow the road all the way up. And Si's shop is on the right hand side. I think it used to be an old bank or something, maybe. I'm not too sure. Si, let us know. It is indeed, he says, yeah. Si says the beach is also where the water company pumps all the sewage. Nice. David Underhill says, what Microsoft needs to do is state Windows 10 support is continuing, but just update it to Windows 11 specs. Yeah, the whole Windows 10, Windows 11 thing, I think Windows 11, if people were allowed to buy the LTSC version of Windows 11, I don't think anybody in their right mind would be against going from Windows 10 to Windows 11, because Windows 11 LTSC is so much like the original Windows 10 when it first came out, i.e. kind of all the stuff that you want is there, but really not much of the crap. Yeah, the LTSC version is fantastic, and maybe we'll do it in a live stream one night. We'll go through the whole process of downloading the ISO, burning it with Rufus, installing it, going through the drivers, etc., looking at the kind of the footprint of the software, because it's actually very, very low footprint. There's basically nothing in there. You've got all your normal system stuff, but in terms of applications, it's kind of like Explorer, Edge. I'm trying to think what else was on the front page. There was so little there, it was ridiculous. It was basically a browser, File Explorer, calculator, and very, very little else. So it's extremely minimal, but it made it feel very, very snappy, very fast, which is kind of nice. That way you can install your own stuff. Firephone says, normal Windows key not working for LTSC. I'll be honest with you, I didn't try it. It doesn't ask for a license key at any time of the installation when you do LTSC. The version I got was the 90-day trial, so I'm not too sure if you can activate that from there. Literally, it was just like right, I'm waiting for something else to finish, cloning a drive. What can I do to pass the time? So I thought, well, I'll just quickly install it and see what it's like, see what the hype is about. And it does seem to be very good. But there's going to be some people who are like, well, I kind of like using Outlook, or I like using XY program, in which case you might not be able to install it because it might be from the Microsoft Store, or you might have to jump through hoops to get the Microsoft Store. Yeah, it's a bit of a nose. Ira Wolfman says the enterprise key is needed. It does appear to be that is the case, yeah. I've reached out to premiumcdkeys.com, who are our kind of go-to place for keys, which actually I'll put the...
£75.
They're £2.75 at the moment for a Windows 10 Pro key. So stock up, good prices. You can get them a bit cheaper as well if you put the discount code Mike's Unboxing in. I'll just put a link in the chat there.
I think it goes in automatically.
Yeah, if you put in the link that I've just put in, it should automatically discount it at checkout for you without you having to put any codes in. So that's pretty cool. But at the moment, they don't do an LTSC code. So I reached out to them yesterday or today, I can't remember. All the days blend into one. But I've reached out to them and said, look, can you get an LTSC codes, or can you buy some LTSC codes somewhere so that I can then promote it on the channel? Because I think it's something which a lot of people are going to be interested in, especially as the official Windows 10 support is coming to an end and people aren't particularly happy with Windows 11 and all the shenanigans there. So potentially it's a good cash cow, in all honesty, because there's going to be people who are looking for an answer, and LTSC, if we can get the licensing right, could be the answer. But it's not going to be straightforward. There are ways you can circumvent activation. I'm not going to talk about those on the stream because it will get the stream taken down. I know this, trust me. So yeah, we won't discuss that in any way, shape or form. Obviously, you can put things in the chat and I cannot say anything about them, but whatever. Circumventing licensing is never a good idea. But yeah, I know that there's some people who are going to do it regardless. So that is up to you entirely. I just can't condone it or recommend it on stream or in a video.
Tech Trouble says, what GPU is that on the table?
That is a Radeon RX 6700 XT 12 gig. £222 it cost me. And I've got to be honest, I'm quite pleased with that. Although the RGB is a bit of a problem. And actually I was going to take this apart, wasn't I? What time is it now? Right, let's have a quick look. We've got a quarter of an hour or so before we're going to end the stream. So let's take the graphics card apart and see what the deal is. So currently it would appear that the stickers are intact. So let's go to the overhead camera. And where is my remote control? Let's zoom you in a bit. Oh, wrong one. Blimey, Charlie. I'll move it forward. That's easier. There we go. Right, screwdrivers. So this, I think, should be pretty straightforward in just the fact of undoing these screws. Doing a crisscross pattern. I have been meaning to do a video on repasting GPUs for a very long time, but the thing is, there's so many GPUs that are different to remove or to take apart that I know if I do it, someone's going to be, well, how do I take apart such and such GPU? And I don't know if I really want to put myself through that. Do I need anything else at the moment? Right, might have to do those as well. So 2 there, 4 in the middle, and another 2 on the end. That should be it. Alright, that's coming apart, but is there another screw somewhere? Don't think there is, so yeah, that's coming. Sometimes with these cards, especially if they've been used for a little while, the paste can get a little bit crusty, so it just takes a little bit of prying to undo it all. And it looks like I've got to undo a bunch of cables as well. So I think I'll start off with the ones on this side. So these are the ones for the CPU fans. So I can just undo those, and then I can leave the other ones connected just there, and should be able to get access to it. So it looks like the paste, the paste has gone a little bit on the crusty side, and there's a little bit of dust residue on there, but it's not too bad at all. The thermal pads look okay, don't seem to have squished too much. And look at that, they've even got the MSI logo on the chokes for the power stages. Nice.
Will you put the sticker back?
What, the void if removed sticker? No, that can stay. I'm not bothered.
That's why Mike's taking this card apart. Simple repaste.
Yeah, that was it. Just a simple repaste. Just have a look, see if there is anything on here which is potentially going to be harmful to it. But no, it looks like it's pretty good. I would imagine so. I've not tried it myself, but I would imagine it is a possibility. Oh, they got him at it now. Right, so we've got some isopropyl alcohol. Just put some of that on there, just to loosen that up a little bit. And then we will get what is known as a toothbrush, which I said correctly. Don't mock me. Just going to gently agitate that a bit, just to try and break it down. And then a paper towel, just to remove the excess. With these, you should be quite gentle. You don't want to damage anything. Just work the bristles in, and then you can soak up any of the debris. Sometimes you can chip the paste away on the sides, but because you've got a lot of surface mount capacitors and components there, it's probably best not to do that.
That's how you paint it, just kitchen roll it.
Hey, if I'm going to clean it, I might as well clean it properly. There, it's like it come out of the factory. Almost. Okay, so that is basically almost a polished finish. Bless you.
Night night. Do you want any more remedies?
There we go, nice and cleaned up now. That is looking pucker. Let's see if I can change the view a little bit. Hang on a minute. Let's get my my application up. Obsbot. Oh, don't want that one. Oh, Obsbot is running. There we go. There we go. That's a bit better. Get a bit closer. And I think with this, I'm going to use MX4 as a thermal compound. I generally quite like using MX4. It's quite a nice compound to use. Don't want anything too thin, but you don't want anything too thick either. I'm just going to put a big dollop on there. And then I'm going to spread that with a spatula. Just grab myself a little plastic spatula. Of course, you don't have to do the spatula thing if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. The only thing is, with a GPU, it is a good idea to get as best a coverage as you possibly can. Because if there's any parts of the die which aren't covered with paste, or if there's like a thin spot, it can quite dramatically affect your temperatures. So you can either just put a boatload on and be done with it, or you can paste it like this. And just make sure you get it all covered. Now what I would suggest doing, even if you do use the spread method like we've just done there, is to then go ahead and actually still put another dollop in the middle, just a tiny one. It's the tiniest little bump. Oh god, loads come out there. Let's put that towards the middle. Yeah, just get some more in the middle. That way then when the CPU, when the GPU cooler gets put on the top, the pressure of the mounting is then going to squish it out. So if there's any unevenness to your spreading method, that is going to basically take up any of the slack, so to speak. So you don't have to do that, it's entirely up to you, obviously. Do whatever works for you. But I found by doing this method, I've never had any significant issues with thermals or with putting the GPU back together again. So again, yeah, do whatever works for you. But for me, this works very well. Now to put it all back together, this can be a little bit of a tricky bit, especially when you've got a boatload of cables. Now on this one, because you've got cables on both sides, which is a little bit of a problem, just make sure they are firmly in. And actually that one wasn't firmly in. So I wonder if that was why my RGB wasn't working properly before. Maybe it was. Okay. So I'm going to put it over the top and then try and match up the holes, which shouldn't be too difficult to do. You can just about see down through. I could probably do with a bit more. I think we're about there. There we go. So you get a couple of holes lined up. So those are all lined up. Lovely, lovely. Excellent stuff. And all I'm going to do is to put in the 4 screws in the middle. That bit there, the lining up, is actually probably the hardest part of the whole bit. Yeah, also, like David Underhill says there, if you want a long-term cooling solution, which potentially might not be quite as good thermally, but certainly will have the longevity, you can use a thermal cooling pad. Now the cooling pads come in all types and sizes. You get the weaved ones, which are like a mesh. Those generally aren't quite as good. If you use something more expensive like the PTMs, I think it's the PTM 79. The springs are a part of it. They're already attached to these screws. They don't detach. Right, so with the screws just done up a couple of turns each one, I'm then going to flip it around a little bit, and I'm going to make sure that I can put the connections in for the fans, because otherwise you'll end up taking the whole thing apart again. Actually, this might be a calf job, because she's got little fingers.
Want me to do that?
No, I got it. I thought I might need help, but I'm good, I think. Yay, I did a thing. Yay, both of those done. That's good. So now we've got those connected. I know I don't have to connect anything else up. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work from the outside in. This is going to help level up the card, or level out the card.
Which card was the hardest to open, Mike?
I don't know actually. It's probably going to be like one of the Nvidia cards. The Founders Edition cards are absolutely horrendous. I never took the Intel A770 apart. That is supposedly a absolute nightmare, but I never tried it. I used it and sold it pretty much straight after the launch, really. Not by choice. Someone wanted to buy a PC and had the option of either a AMD card or an Intel card, and they went for the Intel card, surprisingly. So yeah, that was a bit weird. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, that one's done. And back to that side, into there, into there, and just give them all a little bit more of a tiny little cinch, just to make sure they've got some really nice contact going on. Don't over tighten them, but yeah, make sure they're secure. So that is it. That's pretty much it done. And just make sure that your fans still spin, that nothing's obstructing them. I do think with these actually, the bearings, quite often MSI will use ball bearings in these fans, and they do make a little bit of a noise. They could also do with probably a little bit of oiling, but that is a little bit of a destructive thing, so I probably won't do that quite yet. Most of the time the fans are off anyway, so yeah, it shouldn't be a problem.
Founders Editions have about 40 screws to remove.
Jesus. Yeah, that's insanity, isn't it?
How come you work on God's Day, Mike?
I work on God's Day because, I don't know, there's many reasons why I do, but I don't really know if any of them are justifiable. Going back years ago, worked at the BBC, started the YouTube channel. YouTube channel started taking off a little bit, and me and Kath both worked at the BBC. Then Kath's contract expired. I wasn't particularly happy about that, neither was she. So I left very shortly after, basically a few days after. Yeah, and basically went on the sick for multiple months in basically a argument with the BBC about how we'd both been treated unfairly, and they favoured a Welsh person over an English person for a job in a Welsh company, because that was the basic thing, and they weren't suited for the job, etc, etc, etc. So yeah, basically went off on the sick for about 10 months, and I actually asked them for redundancy. I said, well, just make me redundant. And they're like, well, we can't lose the position. It's like, well, I don't care, it's not my problem, is it? Just make me redundant. And I would have said, like, at the time, just give me 20 grand, I'll go. Which at the time they were paying me 40 grand a year. So it's like half a year's wages. But instead, they paid me for basically 9 to 10 months of the year. And then when I finally agreed that I would leave entirely, they paid me all my holiday pay, which I'd already taken. But because my boss wasn't very good at writing it down, they paid me all the holiday pay. So they probably paid me the best part of about £30,000 over the period of 9 to 10 months. So it would have been easier for them to just say, all right, just go.
And then you took a career break.
Yeah.
For a year. So
then I took a career break for a year and was doing the YouTube stuff, basically, pretty much full time. Kath went to work, and yeah, I stayed home making videos. But then Kath got a little bit ill, and
iller at that point.
yeah, Kath
I
got
had a horrible job.
Kath got iller, and yeah, basically we didn't know how things were going to turn out. So I then went to work full time in a shop that I worked in when I was 16, when I left school. Well, 16, 17, and they had a a job vacancy, so I thought, well, what the hell, let's just do that, and we'll do YouTube when I can. So I did that. COVID hit, started reducing my hours down, etc.
I think you started reducing your hours before
Yeah, I
that.
think I probably did. I went down to like a 4-day week or
Because
3-day
then I
week
worked
or something.
full-time, but opposite you,
Yeah.
half the week in a different place.
It was a weird thing, but anyway, it's kind of whittled down to the point of like, I don't want to get up in the mornings to go to work in the shop at whatever time it is because of staying up late doing the videos and stuff. So I said, well, if you want me to, I can do Sundays because they open at 10 o'clock, so I can get up at kind of 8 o'clock, get ready for work, go to work, blah blah. It's absolutely fine. I don't have to worry too much about having to get up early. So yeah, that's basically where it is, and I work in a shop on a Sunday. I don't know really why still. Like financially, it's nice to have a little bit of a backup, a bit of a buffer there should anything go wrong with YouTube, but it's not like it's kind of absolutely necessary. We could probably get by without the extra income. It's only about 250 quid a month for working a couple of days on a couple of hours on a Sunday, so it's not like a massive amount of money. And I suppose really I should just knock it on the head, but there's part of me which quite likes doing it and getting out and seeing the public and being in the real world for a little bit is kind of nice. So I like retail work anyway, I always have done, so it's kind of nice to do that. And it's a break from video editing. It gets me out of the house. Basically it's the only thing really that gets me out of the house, so yeah, I kind of like doing it. Yeah, that's kind of it. I kind of enjoy it. I see it as a bit of a break, because Monday to Saturday I'm in here making videos, researching videos, answering emails, doing all the kind of YouTube stuff and the business and admin side of stuff and planning, etc. So yeah, I don't really get a day off as such, so it's kind of nice to just go into the shop and just forget about YouTube altogether for a little bit. And yeah, that is my kind of my rest day. And I don't really do much after I finish work. I come home, normally fall asleep in the chair after answering some questions, and that is about it. So
And put on that video.
yeah, normally I put on a video from explaining computers or Adrian's digital basement and just gently fall into a coma, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that is that's pretty much my my life summed up there.
What are you going to do when the shit hits the fan?
What am I going to do when the shit hits the fan? It depends what fan it is and what shit it might be. If the shit hits the fan, the shit hits the fan, and I think everyone will be in the same position, so should you prepare for that? I don't know. Who asked that?
Our portier.
Our portier. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what I would. It depends what shit hit the fan and how. Realistically, I don't think there's probably going to be some sort of economic crash at some point or some sort of reset, but we're all going to be in the same boat, so you can't really plan for it. You can't really plan against it as such. The world would be what the world would be. Just make.
Stop manifesting it.
Yeah, just
Don't give them your energy.
just make every day a new day. So go to bed, wake up in the morning, it's a new day, and just see what happens. If you look too far into the future or look too far into the past, you're probably going to find bad things that you don't want to see. So just live for the moment, live in the day, and enjoy it for what it is.
Do you get overtime for working on a Sunday?
No, I don't.
Get paid.
I barely get minimum wage. I think I just about get minimum wage, which I have no idea what that is at the moment. I think it's like £11 an hour or something.
Probably going to go up next
But
month.
it's yeah, I'm on. It's a minimum wage job. Do it in 6 hours a week. But arguably, if you think of YouTube and what I earn from that, if I broke it down to an hourly wage for the actual hours that we put into it, I'm probably better off working in the shop, to be honest. Because actually, I haven't broken it down recently, but I don't think it's probably not far off it. I can't imagine. Sometimes it's good, like if we do a live stream and we get a bunch of super chats in, then yeah, it's like, wow, that's a big difference. But general kind of YouTube daily videos, we get roughly between 900,000 and 1 million views a month. So to give you some idea of the kind of the reach that we get or the views that we get, Yeah, I mean, it's not a massive earning, and arguably in a minimum wage job doing like 40, 50 hours a week, probably be similar sort of money, I guess. I'd have to work it out, but after taxes and all that stuff. But it's the freedom of doing it, and just get on with it. The money has never been a motivator for myself or CAF. It's if we can put food in our bellies and keep a roof over ours and the kids' heads, then we're pretty happy with it. If we can get a little bit here and there, then happy days.
We're not too materialistic. I've always had to stay home to look after the children because George was autistic, so we're not used to having lots.
Dutch Jan says, if I get fired today, I will have a new job tomorrow. Yeah, that's the attitude. I think most people, as long as you're kind of pretty strong-willed and you've got a bit of determination, not entirely, because some people, like, it depends where you are, the jobs you're going for, etc., etc. But realistically, if you don't care what you do and you just want to earn money, most people can fall out of a job and fall into another one the next day. But you might end up either, I don't know, sweeping the streets, working in harvesters, McDonald's, those types of things, which may not be everyone's taste. And some people don't want to do that, and I totally get it. But yeah, there generally are those types of jobs available should you want one. Rick says, keep your life how you want. I keep to myself. Yeah, that's it. Do your thing. Mookie MC says, have you ever considered doing simultaneous streams and going live on Twitch as well? I've considered it, but I don't really know how Twitch works. And having to kind of navigate YouTube and the way that works in the chat and then do it in Twitch as well, I don't think I'd be able to give the Twitch viewers the attention that it really would need to grow the Twitch followers. But yeah, it's something that I've considered. Skystalker says, hot take, it isn't a bad time to be retired. Sai says, my boss is a total arsehole. It's perfect. Sai, you are your own boss, aren't you? Or did I get that wrong? I thought you were the boss. Or is that what you're trying to say, that you are an asshole? It's perfect. Exactly, gotcha, yeah. Susan Robbins says, here in the US it's a mixed bag being retired. I would imagine it would be, yeah. I always, because of obviously being an English person living in the UK and just seeing American TV and growing up in the 80s and 90s, we always assume that in retirement that most of you just head off down to Florida and live out your days there. That is kind of like America's graveyard, so to speak. I don't know, is that a thing? Like here in the UK, we have an equivalent for people mostly in the kind of Midlands, sometimes in the north as well. So we have an area called Weston-super-Mare, which is a coastal area just outside, well, technically it's inside of Bristol, it's in the Bristol boundaries, but
Weston-super-Mare.
yeah, it's not a great place. But whenever you go there, it's just full of brummies. Always full of brummies.
But anywhere is, I think.
Yeah, it might be. But yeah, Weston-super-Mare is our version of your Florida, just muddier and colder.
What do you mean? Nobody heads there for the retirement.
Brummies go to Weston-super-Mare to retire and to live when they've retired.
No, they're on holiday there, aren't they?
Yeah, they holiday there and they live there after.
Well, that's Budley Salston.
It might be, but yeah, Birmingham by the Sea. That's it. The movie Cocoon ruined Florida. How so? Oh, what? Because of giving it the impression that it was full of old people. Well, I don't know. Where was Golden Girls set? Because I think Golden Girls was out before Cocoon. Is it not a national thing that everyone goes to Florida to retire? Yeah, Shady says anywhere in the coast is a retirement home.
Did you go up where the camera routes?
Yeah. That's Otis. Guster says, I'm just here for the kitty. More cat content. If
Otis is shy.
Otis is really, really shy. If Dave was here, he'd be spread out on his back.
Where is Dave?
I don't know.
It's been quite cold out.
Shady says, even the shop windows on the coast are bifocal. Roderick says, I'm a Brummie, retired in Leicester. Golden Girls was filmed in California. Ah, I didn't know that. I thought it was. Why did I think it was Florida for some reason?
Can we just show you in front of the camera? I know, you shy. Be brave.
Come on, Oates.
It's okay. It's just a...
There's Otis.
No, he gets shy.
Come on.
He's a scaredy.
I bet if I had a fish here, you'd eat a fish, wouldn't you?
Or some liver. Or some heart. You like your offal, don't you?
Ah, Golden Girls was taped in Hollywood. I like how you said taped. 'Cause it would have been cassette. Oh, it would have been videotape back then, wouldn't it? But it was set in Florida. That's where I got it from. Excellent stuff. Right, like I said, I've got to go to work tomorrow morning, so I better wrap this stream up. There's only last minute questions we should do. Hey?
You've told them you work in the afternoon, 10 o'clock.
That's not the afternoon, 10 o'clock, that's bloody morning. Especially when you've just had to do a stream. What's that? Poor Dave Aitken, what about him?
Around waking you up.
Yeah. The cat says later.
There he is, he's going for his cable ties.
Dutch Jan. Yeah, everyone's saying good night. Okay, excellent stuff. So, thank you all so much. And again, before you head out, if you are still wanting to watch some other content, head over to Adamant IT 2, their channel. So that's spelled ADAMANT IT. So like Adam Ant IT, but it's Adamant. But that's a whole different story. But Adamant IT number 2. Head over to the channel, drop a sub, drop a like, and you can watch the live stream that Graham did earlier on today, looking at a motherboard which we sent into them. Which you could tell if you get past the first 30 minutes or so, you will understand the rest of it, because yeah, it wasn't looking good. But did it turn out good or not? You'll have to go over and tune in to find out. So there you go. Yeah, there's 2 channels. Adamant IT is the pre-recorded, and Adamant IT 2 is the streams. So please do feel free to check out. Massive shout out to everybody who helped contribute as well in that video, dropping some super chats and making it all worth Graham's while. And also thank you for those of you that dropped super chats in tonight's stream, and also your continued memberships and Patreon support. All that kind of stuff really does help, and maybe one day I will be able to give up my Sunday job and we can do Sunday streams as well. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Who would like a stream on a Sunday? I wouldn't mind doing a stream on a Sunday, I think. Otis, don't eat the cable ties.
Right, cable tie. Oi.
Oh, he has properly eaten it.
No,
Don't eat that, butthead.
That's
Anyway,
twisty stuff.
I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.